balance sheet in about 3 years.
Thank you. There you go. You talked about the big.
Hello, everyone. It's Monday, January 16th. This is a special episode of Have Your Say. We are going to join live the ongoing B2B speech. Is taking questions at this point from the Chatham house. So let's join. And after that, we are going to have a conversation and get your reactions to what he's been saying. It's been interesting so far. I just felt that maybe for those of you who may want to join the conversation, we should do it here. So let me connect you to that.
What you're saying is about the big boys who are selling generators. Let me assure you what we've been campaigning on. Our campaign, you have heard them say we don't have structures. That is the structure we're trying to destroy. Structure of criminality. That is what I mentioned. That Nigeria is being held captive. That structure is structure that have impoverished Nigeria. We will dismantle it. It will not be there. I assure you of that. We're going to turn around the power sector. Nigeria generates about, today, 56,000 megawatts of electricity for 200 million people. And South Africa, the second biggest in terms of economy in the continent, 5 to 6,000, that's 5 to 6,000, sorry. And South Africa, the second biggest economy, 60 million people, generates about 40 to 50,000. And South Africa, in the past 3 months, have declared emergency in power and said anybody can generate up to 100 megawatts without license. So somebody who is 60 million, generating about over 40,000, declared emergency. What do you think somebody with 2 million people generating 5 to 6,000 will do? War. I'm going to declare war on power, and I'll solve it. Anybody who stands on the way, so be it. Bringing back foreign investor is very simple, Paul. Foreign investor is like bee and honey. All you need is to create honey. The way bee will find the place is very simple. Foreign capital is scared of corruption. It's scared of bad policies. It's scared of where there's no rule of law. You need to put a regulatory environment that makes it conducive. You need to secure it. That is at the heart of what Dati and I are offering. We will build that intangible assets of securing the country, making sure that we govern to rule of law. We will fight corruption. Dati have a record that is the only National Assembly member who refused to buy property of government when it was offered to all National Assembly members. You can go and look at his record. If you have seen anywhere he has compromised or put himself in a transactional position. And I'll stop running. I know how I approached him. And I told him, I and you owe it to save our people. That's why we came together. And we came back and said, we'll work as a team. We'll solve this problem. Go and check my record. I've governed the state for 8 years, and I've challenged everybody. Paul, you were there. I've been the only governor till today. The day I left office, I was not owing salary, pension, gratuity, or any contractor, any supplier. And I left in 3 banks in Nigeria, which I say every day. Access Bank of Nigeria, Fidelity Bank of Nigeria, and Diamond Bank. I left over $150 million. I didn't say naira. And I have over 30 billion naira. And Anambra State, you can go and verify in the world. I've never had a bottle. Anambra State have never bought me. There's no land allocated directly or indirectly by me, and I signed over several thousands of CFO. Anambra has never bought me a bottle of water since I left office. So you can go. We will fight and stop corruption. Yeah. The first thing about stopping corruption is yourself. If you're not involved, your wife is not involved, your family is not involved, those around you are not involved, you reduce it by over 50%. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm sure, Paul, you know that. We are committed. We can't disappoint these youths. We must build a new Nigeria. And we'll deal with that. Investors will come back. Those who left, even the young people who are today living, they'll come back. We want to bring them back. Nigerians are prepared to come back if they can find that they have a country to go back to. This green passport, people must be proud to use it. On issue of capital, where do you find money? My young brother, there's nothing wrong in borrowing. Borrowing is a legitimate way of every government I've studied in the world borrow. Even Britain, as we speak, owns over 70% of their GDP. Every government I know lives on borrowing. Even Norway, with 1.4 trillion sovereign wealth, is owing. The economies of the world, the 3rd biggest nation in the world is America. The debt of America today is almost 100% of their GDP. The second, China, is almost owing over 60% of their GDP. Japan owes over 230% of their GDP. But let me tell you the difference. Japan is owing over 230% of their GDP. They invested the money to save their economy. And in that, even with that, Japan is still the highest holder of US treasuries. So there's something they can fall back on. What has happened? So borrowing is not wrong. If I have done, I compare 2 countries that borrowed with Nigeria and how well they've done. But what has happened is that when you borrow for consumption, you have a crisis. Nigeria borrowed for consumption. Nigeria in 2015 had a GDP per capita of $2,550. And they were owing about 15 trillion naira. Today, with central bank ways and means, we're owing over 75. So we have grown that debt by about 400%, but our per capita is 2,000. That means that the money we borrowed was thrown away. So that is what I'm going to reverse. We will restructure the debt as it is today. We will restructure it and put it a long time to be able to pay it. I'm a finance person, that is one. And then we will not say, like I said here, no more borrowing for consumption. We will see borrow, people will see it, it will be transparent, it will be for investment. And that's what we intend to do. Countries have been in this situation before. We're not in a situation where other countries haven't passed before. It's a question of showing leadership, and we will be able to solve it. Thank you.
I'm coming back. We are now almost around 60,000 people just watching us and sending in questions. So we're trying to be at least a bit inclusive. We have a question from Debo Ademoyo, who is asking, what are your policy ideas on climate change? Do you have a plan for ensuring sustainability in a new government? So that's one question. Then there was a joint question from Miss Etty and Zindi Anthony Levy, and they're asking, insecurity is a major problem. What are your plans in tackling this? What are your plans in terms of security sector reform in Nigeria? I'm going to take 2 more physical questions in the room. The lady right in the front here. So I'm not going to discriminate with the front rows. Please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Chi Chikwendo. I'm a practicing solicitor here, advocating, of course, for rule of law. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for the inspiring exposition on your vision for policy change and institutional reforms. It seems to me that it's clear from that if elected president, if and when elected president, your transformation vision to increase the production capabilities across the various sectors mentioned, including agriculture, extraction industries, human resources, will, to a large extent, hinge on the depth of your level of commitment with solidarity and ownership to implement the proposed policy changes and institutional reforms. However, there is no doubt in my mind that Your Excellency is well aware of the prevailing fundamental challenges to those reforms, including clientele patronage, political capture, and the institutionalized corruption that you mentioned. So the question is, how do you intend to navigate these challenges differently from the efforts of previous administrations, particularly with a view to modifying the behaviors of the key players in support of achieving those anticipated outcomes? And I was very warmed when you mentioned you're broadening the scope of youth inclusion and women based on gender issues. So further, how do you intend to quell the current ethnic tensions ravaging our communities and consequently stagnating economic growth and development, and to implement a pragmatic mechanism for dealing with those societal concerns for equal...
Okay, please. We need... The longer this takes, the less questions. Madam, please, yes. Now.
So the question there is, how do you intend to implement a pragmatic mechanism for dealing with those societal concerns for equal access to the services, inclusive participation, and integrating the various ethnic groups?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Peter, if you answer those questions, because that was more than one question.
Well, let me start with the issue of, you have, like you said, you have more than one question. I have about two questions. Let me start with the issue of ethnic tension. The ethnic tension you see today is based and as a result of injustice, unfairness, exclusion, marginalization. As soon as you start reversing that, they start going down. That is what I said to young men about agitation. As long as you start doing the right things, as long as you start building an inclusive society where people's talent, hard work will match up their opportunity, you start seeing those things go down. There's tension, even in the Western world here. I lived here when the blacks feel excluded. But as the more the government opens up and tolerates and builds an inclusive, transparent, more broad-based, acceptable, they will come down. And we will show, I've said before, we will show compassion. We will show love. Because there's nothing, you're a leader. Don't go away when Bayelsa is under the water. Don't leave Jigawa to die. Don't say, oh, I cannot go to Southern Kaduna because there's a problem. We will show compassion. We will lead from the front. We're not going to walk away. And for me, Borno is part of Nigeria. I don't want to say people, oh, the region is insecure. Nigeria is insecure. Like I told the IDP people in Christmas, I spent my IDP with IDP people in Makurdi in Christmas. And in New Year was another IDP camp in Abuja. And I said to them, as long as Nigerians are in IDP, all of us are in IDP. I will not allow, and I know that you will not allow it, for any Nigerian to remain in IDP while we're sleeping in our mansions. Never. They must go back. On issue of challenges and dealing with them, the challenges you foresee, I've dealt with such challenges at the Anambra level. And I'll show you the same challenges. We're not going to, as long as you're not involved in this transnational governance, you can deal with anybody. And we're not going to compromise. We have an issue. I said, We are at an existential threat that we don't need to. There's nobody, there's no sacred cow. You either be a Nigerian or you can find another country. We have a country with the rule of law. It will be the same level playing field for everybody. I want to solve the problem. For example, I said it without equivocation. I must pull out the poverty that is devastating the North. The vast land in the North is far more in terms of assets and source of revenue generation and exports for Nigeria than the oil. It's very simple. And I give you an example of one state that I use every day. Niger State is 76,000 square kilometers, precisely 76.3 thousand square kilometers of land. 7 local governments in that state is under control of bandits. I've tried to interview them because they have no job. They have nothing and everything. Niger State is 2.5 times the size of Netherlands. And Netherlands agricultural export last year was $120 billion. Why can't Niger State do 5% of that? They have arable land. And all they get from the revenue, from the sharing, which is the consumption, is less than 50 billion naira. When they have minus their debts and everything. If they earn 6% of 5% of that is $6 billion. At 650 is about 4 trillion, 80 times what they get from here. We will change it. Somebody talked about tackling insecurity. I've said it extensively. It is our first commitment to first secure Nigeria. Securing Nigeria is not impossible. I secured Anambra State, that's gone. And it won't be different. I've said we will deal and talk with those we will win, we'll talk with those who are winnable. It will be carrot and stick. And those who don't, we will deal with them. We're not going to shy away. Nigeria must be secured. It's a country. Every country must be secured. But we're not going to walk away from the problem. We'll deal with it. We have our armies and military used to secure Africa. So this is time to go back and resonate that spirit in which they used to secure Africa to secure Nigeria. And we will deal with it. On climate change, I've always said we'll follow the protocol. And I did mention here about issue of things like planting trees, issues of dredging. These are some of the climate change issues because as you see today, we have a situation where there's flooding in Nigeria because we've not dredged River Niger, River Benue and everything. And I said it consistently. This is not difficult. We've awarded contracts for it in the past. Today, every Egyptian will tell you, no Nile, no Egypt. They have used it to improve the water transportation, which dredging this one will do. And that's a long fighting climate change. They've used it for other means, which we will use the same River Niger and River Benue to do. River Niger and River Benue combined River Niger is 4,200 kilometers long. River Nile is 1,400. River Benue is 1,400 long. So two of them are 5,600. Nile is 6,650. If Egypt, an African country, can dredge, maintain River Nile, Nigeria is big enough to deal with this, and we'll deal with it. And I assure you, you see the difference, it will be clear. Other protocols of climate change will follow it. Where we find difficult, we'll negotiate and talk with other involved in that. We're signatory to it, and it's devastating the world today. So we must follow the protocol.
Thank you. The clock is ticking. We're on We're on borrowed time now, but we are going over, as I said. There's right at the front here, there's a gentleman there. I'm going to take 3 questions, and then I think the clock is going to have had its say. Short and sharp, please.
I'll
go
keep
ahead.
it short. Hi, good afternoon. My name's Alexis Akwajiram. I'm the managing editor of Semaphore Africa. My question is, if you become the next president, would you seek to keep the current central bank governor or replace him? And please explain your answer.
So, the gentleman in the middle there. Yeah. Please. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, and thank you for your remarks. My name is Chibuikem Ugongadi. I'm a master's student at King's College London, and it's funny, actually, my question is related to him. Given the debacle at the central bank currently and their conduct over the past 8 years, what is your view on central bank independence as a tool to improve economic growth? And how will you what will you do about the leadership at the central bank when you become president in order to make sure that their principles are in line with yours on monetary policy?
Thank you very much. The lady over there. Yes, madam, you. Yes, but sharp, please. There's a microphone just here. It's next to you, just there, please. Aha.
Okay, Your Excellency, good afternoon. So my question here is this: you talked about restructuring. As you're aware, Nigeria can barely service its external debt. Nigeria can barely service its external debt, our current external debt. We cannot service it, or we're finding it difficult to service it. Now, when you become president, how do you intend to restructure our external debt without actually downgrading our rating in the market? Thank you.
Thank you. And your name, just so
My
we have
name
it?
is Ifeyinwa Umunakwe Okeke.
Okay,
Thank you.
And then if we move the microphone to the lady just there, last question. Yes.
Good afternoon. Nice to see you again, Mr. Obi. My name is Kenneth Chukwuwabo. I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Cambridge. I study public-private partnerships in education. I read your manifesto, and it seems PPPs are taking a central stage in education sector. So I wanted to ask, what is your rationale for involving private actors in public education, and what governance structures would you put in place to ensure the accountability of these actors in a sensitive sector such as education? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My apologies. We've run out of time now. I'm watching the clock.
Okay. Alex, I hope you will allow me that somebody here that is so keen, when I was coming in, he had a question that is so interested and is like, so I told him, if I have opportunity, I will request and answer it publicly. Okay. Let me again go, people are talking about the central bank governor. The problem, first, let me assure you, central bank will maintain its independence. It will be respected. And again, it is not the problem of the person there. Central bank have a role of monetary policy, if I'm right. Then you have this physical space. It's like a street football. When the person who is supposed to be in the physical space is no longer, it's like you go to a football match and somebody who is supposed to play in a particular wing is no longer there. You find people playing various wings. The weakness of the physical space allows the monetary space to take over, and in supporting, because there's a weak governance structure, that is where we're able to do what we're doing. What is happening today is happening. So if you're replacing Godwin and putting somebody with that level of physical rascality, which is what is fueling our inflation and even our rate of exchange today, these are some of the things you need to cut. As long as the government continues on that fiscal rascality, that situation will occur. That's what you need to fix. I won't say what will happen. STEM is actually coming to an end. So it won't be too long. So that's that. I assure you that we'll deal with that. You asked about PPP in education. I said you're in Cambridge. Is Cambridge run by British government? No, I just want to know, because I don't know. When we're talking about PPP in education, we're talking about tertiary education. We're not talking about basic education. We will ensure that basic education is free, and we will drive it aggressive, because we have 20 million out of school children in the north, which I've said we will deal with decisively, because those children mostly have learned Quran, which means they're intelligent. We'll meet them at the point of learning Quran and teach them skill. For the tertiary education, we must find a way to fund it in a collaborative way, public partnership, in order to be able to ensure that 4 years will be 4 years, not what is happening today. That's what we mean by that. And it will be, you'll see, it's a win-win situation. That's it. No, not the basic. It won't be the basic. Then, issue of barely servicing our debts. We're not, I've said it before, we're not the only country that have gone through this. Once we move from consumption to production, what we're going to do first is that what you see today, we're inability to service our debts, is because of fiscal rascality. You're paying unsustainable subsidy, which will be stopped from day one, because it's criminal thing. You're no longer generating money because they're stealing with oil. And the only people who can steal oil are people in government, because ordinary people cannot steal oil. You can't put it in your pocket. It's something that you come with sheep. So all those, and you stop corruption, the waste, everything. And you go to seek to ensure that the revenues of government are properly collected. These are things, when you have tightened all the leakages and wastes, you'll be able to increase your position, and you negotiate and be able to service them. Look at it, just to give you an example. Nigeria is today the only OPEC nation, apart from Venezuela, because of sanction, that is not meeting up its quota. Because over the years of oil theft, the multinationals and everything have not been investing, coupled with the theft and everything. You're not realizing what you're supposed to. Every other nation that is in the same condition was able to bring down their rates and inflation within this period of Ukraine war. I'm not saying it's good to wait for war to be able to get more revenue, but people are taking advantage of it, because it's there. And you can't run away from it. But we couldn't take that advantage. Our situation got worse because of poor management of our own physical space, which will change without an eye. And finally, like I said, somebody kept telling me that issue that people have been saying that if I become president, that there's issue of being, how do I say, what word do they use? Stingy. Pat knew the question of stingy. How are you going to manage? Because they said you'll be stingy and everything. And let me say it publicly, that people don't know what it is all about. At the heart of poverty is capital formation. And you can't go about capital formation without savings. Even in the most developed world, which is why I said that Japan holds highest amount of US treasury. If you listen or you go and read about what Professor Ragnar Nusk done in the 50s, he showed it clearly. Capital formation is the heart of poverty. Without capital formation, you have low productivity, low income, and you produce poverty all over the place. What I was doing as governor, I was the best governor in Millennium Development Goals by the UNDP. You can go and check that. Is that? I won a prize for the best road network. I won the Gay Prize back to back on health. You can go and see what I did in health. Build scratch, teaching hospitals and everything. Improved #1 in education. And above all, I was able to save because I believe in future generation. If you look at that saving, I said future generation funding because we want to have proper capital formation to drive tomorrow. If I have opportunity in Nigeria, no matter what we do, we'll do the same thing. We must save for tomorrow because that's how you fund capital to turn around tomorrow. So as an end, I appeal to all of you. There's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time have come. Victor Hugo. The time today is to have competent leadership with character, commitment and compassion. And that's what Nigeria is yearning for. That's what Dati and I are offering you. Let's have opportunity to build a better Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you.
A couple of announcements. First of all, INEC chair speaking here tomorrow, same time, 1 o'clock. You're welcome. It's also going to be live streamed. NNPP presidential candidate Wednesday, same time. And finally, again, just to thank Peter Obi for coming to Chatham House. And good luck in your campaign. And please, if you can just remain seated or on the side while Peter Obi leaves. Thank you very much and have a good afternoon. Okay. We've got lots of press waiting for you. Are we going this way?
This is Dio, Keshi.
Yeah.
Everybody's there.
That's the logo.
Salute to you guys. And this cantankerous woman here.
That keeps them on their toes.
And my chair is here too. As usual, this is the almighty national chairman of Labour Party.
Am I really almighty? Simple,
Yes.
simple national chair.
Mr. Obi attended Christ the King College, Onitsha, and graduated from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, with a bachelor's degree in philosophy. He has attended several executive programs at top business schools in Nigeria and abroad, including Harvard Business School and Kellogg Graduate School of Management, USA. He is an alumnus of Lagos Business School, having attended the Chief Executive Program, CEP 11, in 2002. Mr. Peter Obi is a thoroughbred professional and fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. He has excelled both in private enterprise and public service, and had at various times been the chairman, Fidelity Bank PLC, chairman, Guardian Express Mortgage Bank Limited, chairman, Paymaster PLC, to mention just a few. As governor, he was elected vice chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum and chairman, Southeast Governors Forum, amongst numerous other federal government appointments. Recently honored as the outstanding Igbo man of the decade by the Champion newspaper, Mr. Obi is credited with introducing fundamental changes in Nigerian politics and is remembered for the following achievements while in office: exemplary commitment to reforms and development, building relationships between Anambra State and other countries such as USA, Britain, Russia, European Union, Belgium, Israel, Venezuela, and others. Attracted big Fortune 500 companies like SAB Miller, Distel, and GlaxoSmithKline, Nemeth Pharmaceuticals, etc., to Anambra State. Under him, Anambra State was rated the least indebted state in Nigeria by the Debt Management Office. Anambra was adjudged by the Federal Ministry of Works the state with the best network of roads in the country, having asphalted over 800 kilometers of roads. He reopened long-closed schools and returned missionary schools to the original owners with a grant of 6 billion naira for their rehabilitation, distributing over 30,000 computers, internet access, Microsoft academies to over 500 schools. Anambra State students, for the first time, achieved first place nationwide in the 2013 WAEC and NECO Common Entrance examinations. It provided 700 buses to secondary schools in the state and provided boreholes to over 300 schools.
Sydney, how are you?
Good, Dr. Damages. How are you?
Good. So, what's your impression of this?
I mean, I think he did well. He came into his self, his element. I would say he's not very. When he started the speech, I could feel he was a bit tensed. Maybe it's a very, very big stage at the initial, but he began to relax into his speech, because oftentimes when you see Peter Obi, he's more off the cuff. He speaks from his heart and his head. So, and if you notice, as the evening grew, or as the program grew, and when he came into the question and answer session, he was just in his element. That's the Peter Obi, responding to questions, understanding the details of his agenda, which is very clear. I think if you ask any person about the Obi agenda, you can know where and where he's going to. And of course, there was no issue of sharing questions to anybody. So I think it was a good outing for him.
Okay. Did you what do you think will be the headline from the newspapers tomorrow morning?
I mean, there will be areas where he will be antagonized. I think he didn't. He'd never addressed some questions in terms of climate change. But apart from that, he's always been. The opposition is always looking for where to pin holes, but I think he has set the marker. His speech and his presentation today has laid down a marker on the ground, and you could see areas where he's really passionate about, and that is about making us Nigerians. I think every Nigerian that watched him will be proud that if this is your president, you can be proud to be a Nigerian. You can be proud to call yourself a Nigerian. He knew the issues, he knows the challenges. He was not shying away from, especially the first question that came to him. He never shied away, which was about the IPOB, which is very touchy issue. He addressed it headlong, and there was no, he's not a president that is afraid to speak what is very clear. So there's no ambiguity to him. So I think it's there for the Nigerians to decide who they want to follow, who they want to vote this year.
Tochukwu, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rudolph. It was a very impressive presentation by His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. For once, Nigerians will be proud of his capacity, his presentation, his outlook, his vision. He wowed me to a very great extent. I think this is his best outing so far, where he clearly elucidated everything he wants to do, and he was on point. He had the temperament to control the crowd, the applause, and it was simply fantastic. And I'm looking forward to having, more Nigerians begin to accept that a new Nigeria is possible. It's possible. All we need to do is to go out there, get our PVC, and vote for the right person. And clearly, for me, he's the right person. Thank you.
Where are you joining us from?
Yeah, I'm joining you from Abuja.
Abuja. Okay, very good. It's good to know that there are people watching from Nigeria. All right, so let me go to Chinemere. Chinemere, welcome to the show. Can you hear me? Chinemere, can you unmute yourself?
I can hear you, Dr. Rudolph. How are you today? And hello, everybody.
Yeah, good.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So, Chinemere, what's your impression?
Well, I will say that today I become more proud to be in Nigeria more than before. I mean, having to see somebody who is working for becoming the president of Nigeria go out there at the world stage and show the skill that Nigerians do have, and also show the commitment of actually alleviating life for millions of people who are suffering over there in Nigeria. Is insecurity not even enough to talk about? Nigeria have been put into abject poverty for years. And having somebody right now who is the man of the day, who is the man of the moment, who can clearly define how he's going to be accountable, and also make sure that everything goes well in that country called Nigeria, which I belong. I mean, it's something of joy. I'm so happy to see the way he talked. He talked boldly, giving emphasis with references. What else do you expect from somebody who's going to be president? He did the job, and it was well done. Kudos to Obidati.
All right, thank you. Boniface, welcome to the show. Boniface, can you hear me? All right, I think he's frozen. All right, so the Chinemere, you said, what do you think about his answer to the Biafran question, the IPOB?
I think that's a very big question, because if you watch Obi campaign, Obi that is campaign from onset, this has been an area that people have always tried to hook it on. Because some people will say, if you say this answer, some people say, oh, that. So it's a tricky question for him to answer. But I'm so glad that he has a wisdom, use wisdom to answer that question. There's no place they are not agitating in Nigeria. There's agitation everywhere. But still, people want to hold it with this issue of IPOB. You understand? But the fact that he's so wisdom inclined, that he told people that agitation will start from the home, from the room, from family. Agitation starts from there. And it's important that people knows that the agitation is not just an IPOB issue, it's everywhere. And the fact that he says that and let them know that even his own bedroom, even his own room, there's agitation. And he will open a hand to everybody. The important thing he said there that I like so much is about empathy. Empathy is so important. You cannot rule a nation if you don't have empathy. Like he said, it's a kind of stick game. You bring them to the table, you talk to them. Let everybody have their say. If you don't allow people to have their say, they will keep agitating, but allow them to hear whatever is their opinion. And they can start there be asking them, okay, how do you resolve this? And from there, you can get an answer. But you don't just carry people and put them into the cell. If you never stop agitation, it will continue. But once you put one in the cell, another will fling up, another will fling up, and they become more agitation. But when you have an open hand, okay, let's talk about it. Then those that are ready to submit or to stop will stop, whereas they will now give them an option. Okay, it's either you stop, we'll give you this, or we do this for if you don't. That's how it's supposed to be. And he answered it perfectly. Very good. Thank God for the wisdom that God gave to Peter Obi. And that's why you can see that that's the clear difference between him and other contestants. You can see he has vision. And all the vision, the way he sees them, the way he expressed them, even a layman on the street will understand what he's saying. Kudos to him again. He did a very good job. And somebody talked about the issue of climate change. The issue of climate change is a very big issue. You cannot expect him to come over there and start talking about climate issue when he's not even there. You know that things changes every day. It is what you meet at that point in time you know how to deal with. But he's able to give an example about drainage. Yes, drainage is very important because those are some of the reasons why we have climate issues, and particularly in Nigeria as concerned. So he answered the way he's supposed to answer. And again, he cannot be answered about climate when he's not over, when he's not yet there as a president. Anything can happen tomorrow. Understand? So he answered beautifully, and I think the way he answered is spot on, and I like it. I yield.
All right, thank you. Efe, welcome to the show. Efe, can you hear me?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Where are you joining us from, Efe?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you. Thank you very much for accepting me into this wonderful studio. You know, quickly, I just want to say this. I don't know why, first of all, I don't know why some Nigerians see it so difficult to know the truth. I mean, to know the right person who is really qualified to be the next president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. You know, Peter Obi has just declared it again and proved himself that he's really, really qualified for this job or for this to be the next president of Nigeria. You know, I love him so much. When somebody throw question, you know, when somebody asks question, he will just go directly and answer the question. He know how to place. He know how to drop every word or every plan they are having for Nigeria. Him and his running mate, Dati. You know, I feel so bad when I see some Nigerians still jubilating around some old men that said they want to become the president of Nigeria. You know, if we miss this opportunity, I don't know where Nigeria is going to land it because we are now, Nigeria is an injury time right now. So we all have seen him. We're supposed to go out there, pick up our PVC, vote him directly. We don't need to say that vote wisely. The wisely want to vote is Peter Obi because he's very capable, he's young, he can move around. If Nigeria have any problem, he can move around and try to bring solution. Just go to Cotonou, travel to Cotonou, Niger. No light failure. But Nigeria cannot celebrate 2 hours, you know, with light. It's impossible. Myself and my family, I live in Spain. We live in Spain. All the time we travel to Nigeria, my children used to hit their leg on the table because of lack of light. You understand? So if we can see Peter Obi on this movement like this, he has never been a president, but if you look at the way he used to address people, the plan he's having for Nigeria, at least we're supposed to know this man is the right person that can move Nigeria to another level. If we miss Peter Obi now, you see that all of us, I don't know where we are going to. So that is a little comment I just want to draw. But I just want to advise, I just want to use this medium to advise every Nigerians. We have seen the light, we have seen the road, because if God wants to help us, God cannot come directly. He will send someone. And this man is a God sent. So let's join our hands together and try to push him there. So that is all I have to say. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Efe. Thank you so much. Ike, welcome to the show. Ike, unmute yourself.
Dr. Damage, Happy New Year to you and your family.
Happy New Year to you too.
Happy New Year to all the people I saw in the panelists. I think I've not been here for a while, you know, situations of things, but all is well. I'm speaking to you in my kitchen because I'm home today. The family, I have to cook for them. So once in a while, I'm going to walk away to look at my food or my gas. But well, you see, today is another pointer for well-meaning Nigerians to understand that this man has a mission and he has a vision for our country. Nigeria, which a country all of us is going to be proud to be called a Nigeria. Yesterday I was in another platform and there were, you know, old videos of Mr. Peter Obi, his antecedents, his foundation, his origins. You discover that this man is not playing, he's not a politician. This has been his life, all his life. He has been who he is. He has not changed anything. So I think today, he has always been Mr. Peter. He was measured, calm, calculative, intelligent, smart, and he handled himself with honor and respect. And I think every genuine Nigerian who watched this program will be satisfied, whether you want to vote for him or you don't want to vote for him. But he has proven to all of us that he's capable, he has the character, he has the ability, he has the knowledge to be the president of the most populated Black nation in the world, called Nigeria. So I think that he has proven to us once more that he knows his onions. He knows what he wants, he knows how to deal with it, and he knows his programs and plans. He has always said, on the issue of security, he said, if you put a gun on my head, I'm not going to tell you. Because we know the country we find ourselves. This is Nigeria. And this has been the politics that politicians use against politicians. Because when you expose your program, everything to the public, they use it to work against you. And that is why all the whole political parties in Nigeria are rattled by Peter Obi's posture on the issue of how are you going to deal with the issue of security. But he has been able to open up a little bit, but doesn't mean that he has really let us know in full what his actions and program is. But also, I want to remind all of us through this program today that this man you see that seems very quiet, very simple, this man is a top guy. He knows his own, and he's going to fight any institution, any instrument that is going to stand on his way. So today was a very, fulfilling day for me as a supporter of Mr. Peter Obi, and the answers he gave. I want to follow my brother who talked about climate change. You see, climate change is a sensitive issue that you should be able to know, like as he said, you don't know what you're going to meet tomorrow. We're talking about climate change now. If God makes that he wins and he go there before that time, something has happened. So I think on that particular, I think we have to give him a chance to really, if he wins, because this climate change of an issue that is so sensitive for a lot of people, and if you don't know how to trade that line, you might, get yourself into trouble. So I think the answer he gave was a wise one. And when you talk about the issue of agitations and the Biafra and, whatever, listen, Peter Obi has been steady and calm to that issue. He addressed it yesterday. He spoke to Nigerians yesterday about the Armed Forces Remembrance Day yesterday. He spoke concerning that. He has not changed his position. He said, I'm going to govern with carrot and stick. I'm going to sit down with them, even the people that are in the prison. I'm going to go and bring them out and ask them, what is your problem? It is when I finish discussing with you and I give you the option that the government has for you, and you decide you want to do something else, then I will tell you we can only have one government. There is no nation that is going to allow two governments in a nation. So he is very strong on that point. And I totally agree with him. He said, I am going to dialogue with everybody. And when people try to make it, the first Yoruba guy who was asking questions, he wanted to sectionalize this program today. But Peter Obi is a smart guy. He has been on this terrain for a long time. He brought about the Yoruba nation also. Sunday Igboho is also fighting for Yoruba nation. You know, so the case of the people from the case of the ESN or Masop or whatever in the eastern Nigeria is not only the case. The people in the Middle Bay, the people in the South Side, the people in so many places, there are agitation everywhere. But the politicians in Nigeria are using the problem in the Southeast as a flashpoint for them to prove to Nigerians that the Easterners are not ready to be president of Nigeria. Who told you the security problem in the Eastern Nigeria is an imported insecurity being used by politicians themselves for their selfish interests?
All right, let's get other people involved in the conversation. Thank you. I'll come to you.
Okay, sorry. So for me, generally, today was a good day for Nigeria. And I think whether you like it or not, or you want to vote for him or you don't want to vote for him, I think he has proven himself to be a credible candidate that Nigerians can be able to trust. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Boniface, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. So
what's your impression?
My reaction is, I think I started seeing the interaction late. The questions he answered when I was there was kind of what I expected from him to say. The only thing I don't know how he's going to address is that when he was talking about the dredging River Niger, I don't know how he intends to do that. I don't know how he wants to achieve that. That's the only thing I'm kind of concerned about. You want to dredge River Niger. How are you going to do it? If you dredge River Niger, Onitsha might go. I'm from Anam. My own community might also go.
What do you mean by that? That the community might go?
If you dredge River Niger, it will cause landslides. That's what usually happens if you dredge any place near where people live. The more you dredge, the more deeper it is, then it will begin to cause landslides.
Okay, I'm not aware of that.
I don't think that is correct. I don't think that is correct. No, look, what they use today to drain seas like River Niger is technology. They will do a good assessment even before they do it. Today, the technology you have today is not the technology you have in the olden days. So I'm not sure that anything will affect any community if it's going to happen. And again, it's going to be an assessment. Apart from the assessment, every community will be involved. They will see the community that and let them know what they're going to do. It's not just going there and start doing that. It's going to be a good assessment. You are talking about technology here. Look at the days we have today. Today, drones are being used everywhere to do things. So the same thing is that if a lot of machines are manufactured today that can go deep sea and drain the sea without even affecting what's on the top of the soil. So I'm not sure that is correct, and I wouldn't like you to put up
I don't know. I want to tell you to tell me, calm down. I want you to tell me how you want to dig a hole.
No, I think those are technical issues.
I think the technology. I can share with you some video or how they can drain, how they can dig a hole without even affecting the topsoil. I can send it to you. You see, they're using it in China. A lot of things they're doing. There's video whereby they go inside the soil and they actually drain it, and it doesn't even affect the topsoil. What are you talking about? We're talking about something else.
Okay, that's okay. Boniface is right to be concerned. I mean, he's from
but I'm saying that area. I'm saying it at the public scene.
It's okay. We will get
Are you attacking me or what? What do you mean?
I'm not attacking. I'm only just saying that I want I
My
want to
brother,
give
listen.
evidence. Whatever
All
you
right,
say,
all right,
give
all
an
right.
evidence into it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not attacking you. Attacking for what?
Okay, yeah, let's welcome Inem. Welcome to the show. Unmute yourself, please. Let's hear your view. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much, Rudolph. I have this is my first time in your show. I've been coming in every now and then to listen to your conversation, and it's really been I think I would say really well done to you for hosting such a very fantastic conversations. I live in London, and I was meant to be in Chatham House today, but for obvious reasons, for childcare and all the debates, I wasn't able to do that today. And I think firstly, my comment with regards to some of the highlights from today's presentation from Peter will be clearly, if I have to measure it in terms of taking it back and looking at reflecting on what Tinubu did, obviously clearly this is a better candidate for Nigeria. And for those of us, obviously but those of us who have that sense of national consciousness across in the country, by the way, I'm from Akwa Ibom, and I'm very much passionate about the country. I've been living in the UK for a while now, so I think for me it's one of the key highlights from the presentation from Peter Obi today. One, it's in terms of his eloquence. He's coming across someone who is very compassionate in terms of he clearly understands what he needs to do. He understands the strategic objective of what he's in there for, and I think his experience also is very much at the forefront of his presentation today. I like the way he understands the dynamics of the country, the difficulties, and all the nuances that is happening across the country. And I think for me, I'm really pleased for the first time in the history of Nigeria for us to see something so beautiful coming out from the country, and it makes some of us very proud. When Tinubu came in the last time we talked, I feel, I'm a professional here. I don't want to mention where I work because this is a public space, but I work in a very respected environment here in the UK. And to see someone like Peter Obi coming in, who understands all the nuances in the Nigerian politics, coming to highlight from corruption, from security, from points around inclusivity. There's this whole lot of there's a lot around nepotism that happens in Nigeria politics and in Nigerian space, which obviously it's actually really dragging us back basically. So we instead of there are some countries in the world, for example, in the UK, I think the previous not the equivalent of CBN governor. My head, I'm not trying to reach out.
Let's check out.
Again, sorry, the Bank of England governor
Yes.
was not an Englishman. He wasn't from the UK. He was from Canada. So I think for me, opening up the country for people who are on merit basis, open up the country for people who can, not because you're from this part of the country or from that part of the country. I think it will really help a lot in terms of really driving development. And I think also what we also need to understand as well is that Nigeria is a very complex environment. There's no one size fits all kind of standard that would work in the country. You need to come up with policies, bespoke policies that will address the needs of Nigerians. And I was really impressed, in terms of all the bits that's happening around corruption and also the oil, and also with the last speaker talking about dredging of the. I think he mentioned talking around dredging of the River Benue and River Niger. And I know that this man is a very intelligent man. He will not just go and dredge River Benue and River Niger. There has to be a proper report risk assessment to understand the impact of that dredging to those communities. And I think one of the things that shines that I'm very impressed about Peter Obi is that sense of engagement, listening to people. You have to be able to, you cannot just lead autocratically, by not talking to people like what the current administration is doing. You have to be able to sit down with people, dialogue, and engage with the people you're leading. understand what the needs are, where the pinch points are, and be able to drive development, and also balance things out. So, for just a very direct comment to the last speaker, I think this man is going to engage. There's going to be a proper risk assessment. There's going to be a proper impact analysis to understand what the impact of any dredging or any activity done in any place with regard to the water we have on your on your local community. And I think we're going to do that. So for me personally, I will not be alarmed. I will not be worried. But I think first and foremost is having that national consciousness, understanding the impact of whatever policies you're having to our people. And again, for me, because I cannot vote, we have been pushing for us in diaspora to be able to have a say in the Nigerian election. But it sounds like it's not happening. Maybe with him coming in, giving a listening ear to us, maybe in some sense we might be able to have that kind of legislation where that would allow us to vote. But I think for me, the best I can do is to get involved with conversations like this, throw my voice there, and also engage with my people who are back from abroad. They say, look, this is where I stand for, and I think everyone should. All my family members, they've got PVCs, they're ready for that. So that's all I can do, living here in the UK. But yeah, I'll just pause there so that I don't take the conversation from other people. Thank you, Rudolph, for such a fantastic conversation.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming. Thank you. Austin, welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, hi.
I'm good. It's nice to hear from everyone. Really, on Saturday, I looked at the issue of the Chatham House impact, really. And I spoke as on the part of a Nigerian that going to Chatham House may not make any difference, or talking to them may not make any difference. But I'll try to differ on that position. I looked at the speech today, and I looked at the engagement. I looked at the number of people who were viewing from Nigeria. Then I knew that it is going to make an impact. This was like, I don't know. I always like to have an open mind. I don't care whether anybody, I don't care whether I'm supposed to lean towards one direction or the other. No, I like having an open mind. From what you said, Peter Obi grabbed the issues at hand. There are some little things which we feel, which are intangible. When you do them, you will see impact. Because some of us have been in position of authority. If you don't do the wrong thing, I assure you your followers will hardly do it. I'll tell you one crazy thing, it really is crazy. I taught a class that my sister was there. My sister was one of them. So when I was teaching on a particular day, my sister it was disturbing. So I had to warn her. She did not hear or she did not listen to what I was saying. I got angry and I flogged her. That was back then. I flogged her. When I flogged her, the class was quiet. And I asked, what was the problem? They said, I said, feel free, talk to me. You have always been talking to me. People, what's the problem? They said, if I can discipline my sister, then it means I can discipline anybody. And I will tell you, nobody ever make noise when I'm talking. Because when I'm teaching, they knew that if he could discipline his own sister like this, the person let me say, I senior that person. After me is the girl. But when I disciplined her, from that day, nobody makes noise. Everybody passed. And I always tell them, I mark the script. So if she fails, I will fail her. And if she passes, I'll pass her. And they will always compare the grades. Students compare grades. And they see that she also fails whenever she doesn't do well. So that is the same thing I'm trying to talk about here. If Peter Obi does the right thing, others, even in the National Assembly, will follow suit because they will not want to risk the wrath of Nigeria. Nigerians are very powerful. It's just that we don't try to appreciate it.
All right. So Austin, thank you. This is what we're going to do. There are a lot of people who are trying to join now because I just shared the link to my people. So I will let people who have said something to leave us for the moment. You can hang out on the YouTube channel and watch while I let new people come in. If we have space and time, you can come back, when there's space so that we get people. What do you want to say?
Just before I leave, one last question I wanted that I did not address. in my opening remark, and that's along the lines of lines of how does Peter Obi intend to reduce the cost of governance in Nigeria. That's the only bit that I did not really see him put so much attention, too much emphasis on, because it's only in Nigeria where you have politicians earning so much more than every other country, every other sector, basically. That's the only area that I did not really hear so much of. I believe he has a lot of plans for that. I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to leave. So thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So, Joe, Onyacha, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you.
Well, good morning from this part of the world. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Were you able to watch P2B today?
No, I did not.
All right. So we are talking about his speech at Chatham House and the answers to questions. So people who watched it, we played a little bit of it. We came in late in the conversation. So we wanted to get a view of people who watched the speech. Since you didn't watch it, okay, you can tell us what you want to tell us. You're a big man.
No, nothing really. I'm just listening. I listening to those who watch it and see their reaction. Then I can talk a little bit later. So
okay, all right. Abby, welcome back.
Thanks, Rudolph. Good morning. I mean, I just saw the notification. I never knew you will come alive.
I didn't know too. I just felt like we should talk about it now.
Yeah, it's
welcome.
unscheduled. I'm like, is this live or?
yeah, we did. Did you watch the speech?
Yes, I watched it with one eye while I was doing some work.
Of course.
I must say that I've listened to Peter Obi for several years, and what many people don't know is that the youth this man had been grooming people who now are diehard fans, not overnight. He's been spending so many years speaking, elaborating, and explaining things that over the years he's convinced many that even if it is going to be theoretical, we want to see that theory. And what he has done today is to put up his best. One of the fundamental requirement for leadership is good communication. And this man,
Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard.
Sorry, go ahead.
And this man today showed everyone what stuff is made of. For once, I want to see a cerebral president of Nigeria. See, Barack Obama, George Bush, all these people, what do they have? They could speak. They could what? Speak. It's not them that will get all the job done, but first of all, we want a leadership that has a sound mind and openness, gracious, ability to put things together. He has to first, there's nothing he can do right now than to express it and for us to connect with it. Unlike in what we have had in the past, where the president cannot express themselves. I posted in late 2014 when Buhari was trying to come. And I tell people, this man is not communicating. He's not talking. I got death threat on Facebook. That's why I left Facebook since 2015.
Wow.
When I told them this will be a disaster. So for today, this man has shown everybody that he's got the mental capability, the sound mind, and the will. You could see it in his speech. And in the antecedent that of what assignment he has been to, the little he's been given, what he has done with it, and what others have done when they were given equal. Somebody finished governor, and he's now richer than my state, Osun State. He told them in my state that that this governor, this other competitor told them that he's richer than what do my state has. Where did he get the money? Nothing. And here we have this other one, not even pension is he collecting. We want that stingy man, and it's not only a stingy man, he's a man with sound mind, and he's showing everybody that what he can do. Even the Oyibo people for London today, they know, except the one they no one talk through. They know, say this one different from to show you distribution of team. Afe Babalola, answer that one. Karauje, answer that one. Congo Bala, answer that one. That was nonsense. We didn't see that. We saw a man who wants to take responsibility, stood up, deliver a speech, no teleprompter, no bullshit, and speak straight with sound mind. For me, that is fundamental. We won't get anybody, angel from heaven, to come and do anything. All right? Let's match them up. We can see. Any other thing, yes. When he reach there, you will see me. I will be one of the people to put fire on him. And once he mess up, I will campaign against him rigorously. But for now, this is the man which we elect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, thank you, Ebi. No, Sydney.
I want to go.
You want to go? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to. I knew your program on Saturday was really fireworks, and there was this issue about why Chatham House, why should he be, and I think we most of your guests missed it, but thank God Augustine was able to retract his words. They missed that the Chatham House is not really about only Nigerians, but the Chatham House was about him and also the international community. It's about perception. And today, I think if people had a misconception about Chatham House with our nationalist thinking, which is okay, that's fine, everybody is entitled, but it was about how he can drive the narrative. And the truth is that he was able to deliver that even much more than I think most people expected. So I think that's what I wanted to really talk about, because there was a lot of background talk about it on Saturday.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's good that we're going next to Forefathers, who has issues with people coming to Chatham House. Forefathers, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Rudolph, and thanks for doing this. Clearly, I'm very, very embarrassed by our people still doing this thing that they do. The INEC leader is going to Chatham House. What is he doing there? This is the stupidity of our situation. And we really need to figure out a way to stop these leaders from doing these things. And they run overseas for treatment. How can Nigeria not be able to stop those type of simple things? I don't see Rishi Sunak coming to Nigeria for any reason. As a matter of fact, I don't think he's going to come to Nigeria for any reason, for anything, even for his own country's interest, because he doesn't need to. It's like our leaders are running to them all the time. I don't really appreciate it. And the worst of it is that, yes, everything else Peter B talks about in terms of policy is very, very important and quite good. As a matter of fact, I'm even offended that he dressed better there than he dresses with for Nigerians here. Look at, he was well suited, looking very, very charismatic and all that stuff on the stage there. Why was he not doing that for Nigerians here? So, and then again, when it comes to security, which I value a lot, security, he just like swept it last time, like, we are going to go back to the way we were before. We were never great before. This guy is not going to change much. He's just going to come and push this thing again. We were never great before. You have to spell out what you're going to do, because he actually said he was going to talk about recruiting 1 million soldiers. Since then, you never hear them say that again. They are rolling back slowly again. This is the kind of thing they do. They just come into office, they don't do anything. 4 years again, down the line, and we are still under the control of foreign powers. This is what they do. They are just pretending as if they are going to change stuff. They don't actually, they are just moving this thing, moving stuff around it. They're making us the kind of do, the more you look, the less you see. I really don't appreciate. This is the first time I've actually been very furious with Peter Obi, really. Because he said certain things before. Now he's talking about, we want to go back to where we were before. Where were we before? Were we that good? Were we able to secure ourselves before? Our governments were, from one coup to another, that's what we're having. You have to move from, you have to have a paradigm shift. This thing, he wants to talk about economic policy. You can't achieve much with economic policy if you don't take care of your security significantly, if you don't change it. This is common sense, and he knows it. I know he knows it because he reads a lot about other countries and how their systems are formulated and how they are structured. So for me, I just feel a little bit frustrated from what I saw today. I know that he presented himself very well. He might have an impact in the country, but people need to be asking them searching questions, because if he doesn't take care of that security aspect and this thing that they go overseas, we have to figure out a way to stop them. There has to be a way of stopping these our leaders from going overseas and embarrassing us every day. No other countries do these things. You don't see Pakistani leader going to the UK to go and seek this thing, to go and make statements. Even Sri Lankan president doesn't even do that, and their country is even poorer and smaller than ours. I don't see Singapore president coming to do all these things. Why is Nigeria with all its power still having to do all these things? They really need to stop it, and somebody need to send a message to these our leaders to stop this nonsense that they are doing. It's embarrassing. How do you think our fellow Nigerians feel in overseas here? They see our leaders come to the UK to come and make this thing. You are embarrassing Nigerians here, because they was like, why are leaders coming here to come and make speech to us? Because I don't know. Maybe because we were slaves to you once. How does that make you measure up to any of your mate here in the UK? It's very embarrassing. We have to have a little bit of dignity. If you want to be subservient to other people, be subservient behind the scenes. Don't embarrassing your young generation that have to have a different impression and different this outlook in life. Because we are not servitudes here. Not everybody likes it. They have to somebody needs to really get this message to them, because it's really frustrating what they are doing to our people. They go out there, keep making statements overseas all the time. Then INEC too. Why is INEC going there? Why is INEC at this stage? INEC should not even be in the UK.
Forefathers. I know that you have this position, and I don't want to. It's a legitimate thing to discuss. But can you think about it? When you think about INEC, do you think that INEC could do this election thing without support from the international community? Do you think, for once, that it's possible?
Yes. It's just software and machine learning code. How hard can that be? People can design websites.
Hold on, Forefathers. Do you know the budget of INEC?
The budget of INEC, I don't know. But if you don't need more than 2 million to be able to organize, yes, on the ground, the physical infrastructure on the ground is, yes, expensive. But the software, the hardware that you need is not that expensive. It's just electronics, computers, and this thing that can hold billions of this user data.
All right. Forefathers, hang around. Let's hear other people will come back and go into details, because welcome to the show.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rudolph. Please, I want to address Mr. Forefathers. Please, I don't know if you have grievances against Mr. P2B. That should be kept aside. Okay. Whatever he has said at you were talking about his appearance and his position in trying to put himself to look good in front of the foreign bodies. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not trying to attack you. Let me just keep that aside. Okay, I want to address, somebody talked about dredging the River Niger, that it's a problem to him, that dredging the River Niger is a problem to him, affecting his communities and the negative impact of dredging. Like, I don't see the need why someone will be making such comments in the situation where we are today. We are looking for every possibility, everything that will increase our economy by developing our environment. So it doesn't matter what happens to your community, or I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but you know that the importance of that River Niger is highly important to the society than whatever will happen, whatever effects to have on your community. So it is very important that project is going to be carried out during the time of P2B. So if that's part of his important points that he has made in the Chatham House, that's what he's going to do. He's going to do it. It doesn't matter what happens to your community. I wrote something that I said he should go and make research on dredging. Maybe you don't just come and make comments on things you don't understand. So you have to go and make good research on them before you come and make comments. So if you say dredging is a problem, you don't just say that without going to make research. So River Niger is a pathway that leads to the ocean, and it's very important that we make use of that opportunity so that we can be able to bring goods from other countries, transportation into the country directly from the River Niger. You can within less than an hour, you can travel from Onitsha to Port Harcourt in less than an hour through the River Niger if that place is dredged. So it doesn't matter what happens, the effect of it to your community.
All right.
The important
and everybody, he has a right to be worried about that, even if he's wrong. The point is that he's from there and he feels that this might happen. What should be done is to say, reassure him that it's not going to. I don't think any government will go and do something that would destroy a community in this time and age. Okay, but he has the right to express his
Mr. Rudolph, you know, no matter the good something is going to bring to the people, some people will always want to fight against it if it's not in their own best interest. But forgetting that it's a collective interest, not just the best to the best interest of one person. It's a collective interest. What is this? What is the importance of this thing to the collective people of Nigeria? To the collective people of
it's for the greater good. It's for the greater good.
Yeah,
if somebody has to destroy my own house for the greater good, I will accept it. And Nigerians, we need to stop being selfish about these things. And the problem is that our leaders, they don't tend to trust our leaders, and that's part of it. Because if people trust their leaders, they believe it's for the greater good. They are willing to make sacrifices. And this is the thing. And Peter Obi doesn't talk a lot about transparency. He talks about his own image. Yes, but what are you putting in place to stop people from being corrupt? You really have to put some serious structures in place to stop corruption so that people can trust their leadership.
Mr. Forefathers, you're pointing at P2B again. Listen to me.
I have to. Not only him. The others are useless. So he's the only one I can hold.
No. Listen, when you're trying to apply for a job, you'll be talking about yourself, what you can do, your performance, like things you've done, your track record, or this is where I've worked, this is what I did, and this is what I did. So in that case, this is what I can do. I can achieve this. You understand what I'm saying? It's not about self. You understand?
Hold on. Let me get through everybody who is here. Let's hear what they think about the speech first, and then we can do this in-depth analysis and reaction to other people's commentary. So, Collins, you're next. Unmute yourself, Collins.
The issue is to get the election done right. And because the damage is so huge that it should take no less than 2 terms for whomever wins it. So yes, we have a lot of issues, but first thing first, let us get the right person who, at least for now, P2B in there. Then other things to be addressed. But clearly, the pain is so huge. Everybody's suffering it. But by all means, let us encourage this guy, support him, and get him there. Well, and that thing is that the INEC, like you asked, whether they can do it, the foreign interest is always going to be there. Okay, so at some point, they have to come in, if they're not in there now, to assist INEC, because INEC in itself is corrupt. So, yeah.
So, Colin, did you watch the speech?
No, not at all. I did not watch it. But apparently, I just got your email, asked me to join, that he made a speech. So, but I've seen him spoke before, and in most of the times I watched him, he spoke brilliantly, and he has, leveled us with his credentials. And of the other 2 candidates, they cannot match him. So let's, by all means, pray and help him get there.
All right. Thank you, Colin.
Mr. Host?
Yeah.
Were you choosing somebody else?
Yeah. Collins, are you done? Okay. All right. So let's go to Jojo. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I was going to ask, since I did not watch his presentation, and I have read and I have heard him speak many, many times. So for those who did he say anything different today from what he has been saying? So let me get a gist of what we are supposed to be talking about. Did he do or say anything different that he has said a million times before?
Okay, let's go to Uchechukwu, because I believe probably he watched and he will give us his impression. And from there, you get some of these things. And when we go around, I can play some of these speeches. Uchechukwu, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother. I did honestly, I didn't even watch it. I just got home right now, But like Joe said, and like Gauzier said, and every other person, I think my brother forefathers is not really following P2B, or maybe when he wants to listen to P2B, he will close his ears and bring out hatred. If ask P2B, how can you move the economy? The first thing he will tell you is you have to first of all secure the country. That's the first thing. You cannot move the economy without securing the place. If armed robbers are coming to your shop, you cannot just say I'm fighting armed robber or I'm going to sell market until in Nigeria you build what we call or burglary proof. All those iron, you have to put it in your shop to protect your business. Before you be fighting, before you sell, you need to protect your business and sell the market. He said it time and time without number. First thing is to protect the country, save the country, fight all these things. He said everyone that's Sambisa. Everybody will go and live in that Sambisa. That's what he said. So I want to correct that from you, brother. P2B's first thing is to fight insurgency. And that's why he said, I'm going to discuss with everybody. After discussion, but he's not going to tell you everything, because if it's me, like he said, if you put gun on his head, he will not tell you how he's going to do it. That's how a smart leader does. You can't just tell your enemy how you're going to fight him. Okay, that is number one. And as I know you don't even know P2B, I used to do business in Ochanja when P2B was governor in Anambra State. I know him. In fact, I know his younger brother that runs the business right now. Okay, so if you don't know him, I'm sorry. That's what you think about him.
I'm an Obi supporter. So before you go too far, I support Peter Obi. The reason you have to ask serious questions. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not going to get good results. I'm an Obi supporter. I will be dragged to hell for me to vote for Tinubu or Atiku. But I'm telling you, we have to be asking critical questions here, because you don't want to wait 4 years. You start saying, "Oh yeah, it's happened to us again."
All right, thank you, Arome. Yeah, no, Uche is okay. Yeah, go ahead, Arome.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Rudolph. Good afternoon, everyone. I joined from Democratic Republic of Congo. I've been here for 18 years. So,
hold on. Do you know how
really,
to? Hold on, Arome. Can you hear me? Do you know how to dance to Congo music?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good. I will talk to you after the
show.
No,
not really, but I like the rumbas and other music that we have here in Congo.
Okay.
Congo here is a very poor country, and but one thing I can assure you, this country is very secure because the people are united, despite the fact that they have different tribes and cultures. But they form a kind of a brick wall that is very difficult for outsiders to really infiltrate their beliefs and what they stand for. So I can tell you, security is a simple something. But the problem we are having in Nigeria is not because we don't have strong military men or so. The problem we are having is that we as a country, we left our door porous and open for everyone to infiltrate and weaken our unity. And it comes to a point that no one cares for who the next person next door is. And this creates a lot of loopholes that we find today and having a lot of problem in the country. It's high time everyone in Nigeria wakes up. And it's an opportunity that we have in P2B. I'm not really interested in politics before. For many years, what has been happening is that foolish people who do not know their right from their left are being cajoled or pushed to vote for people who they don't really know what they are going to do for them. But it's the first time in my life that I'm seeing that people really want to choose a leader. And if we don't get it right this time, I'm really sorry for that country called Nigeria. Nigeria is surviving because of all of you and all of us that are living abroad, sending money home for people to be able to feed. If we stop for a second, there is nothing working in that country. I grew up in Lagos. I went to school in Lagos. But I benefited from the education program of Jack Conde, not Tinubu. when people talk about Tinubu making Lagos to be great and so on, it's never like that. It was even worse when people have been many people have lives have been destroyed. They become hoodlums collecting tax for Tinubu. That is the kind of people you have in Nigeria. And if care is not taken, that is going to be replicated all around Nigeria. That whenever we come home, you find people running after airplanes to collect tax for your government. That's what you are going to have very soon. So people became somebody speaking out of his mind what he wants to do for the people. We are all talking here. We don't have any paper or anybody trying to speak for us. We speak our mind. And this is somebody who have at least one thing that he said he's going to do for the country. Guys, we should encourage our people back home to put this man there. And because one, he's somebody we can question, we can talk to anytime. There is none of those political leaders who are coming to present themselves for this office you can talk to.
All right, thank
But
you.
this is somebody who you can talk to. And one thing about dredging of River Niger, you know, when you dredge the river, you make the water more deep and lesser. So when there is flooding, it's not going to take the neighboring community that is close to the river. But when the river is shallow, the water go outboard and it sweeps them all away. So dredging the river is economical and also is going to create even more opportunities for us to have our waterways, inland waterways, as a means of transport that will benefit the country.
All right,
Thank you. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much. Austin N, welcome to the show. Unmute yourself, Austin.
I want to hold brief for forefathers. Forefathers is passionate about PWB, so nobody should accuse him of being anti-PWB. I understand the background where he's coming from. But I see that even Martin Luther King Jr., even after death, is still blessing us. I wouldn't have had the opportunity of being here today if not the holidays. So I thank him for still doing good for the Black. So, beloved, the Chatham House was a great outing. At least I watched the cross question session, and the P2B was just outstanding. It was just phenomenal. And what forefather said when P2B said we are going back to where we are coming from, he made a clear statement. He said Nigerian military was defending Africa. So if Nigerian military was protecting Africa, why can't we protect Nigeria? So that's a clear statement. And if you go back to what P2B did in Anambra State, I was in Omaya when P2B was in Anambra State. Anambra is the most difficult state to govern because you have 20% of the population very rich. And beloved, you know that most of you in the Western world, there's a level of money you get, and you don't get order from anywhere. So before P2B became the governor of Anambra State, the governor had no mouth to the big boys, but P2B came and forced everyone to stand still. And today, Anambra State is governable. Anambra State is where you see people moving around. So he's coming from a position that he is going to where we were. I remember as a kid, my dad will be coming back from Port Harcourt to Ongwa. I'm from Abia State. And we'll see a police officer late hours. They will escort us to the house. We'll drive in and they will go back. My dad will see somebody stranded on the highway. My dad will trafficate, will stop. If the person needs to be taken home, we'll do that. And tomorrow my dad will go to his house, pick him to get a mechanic to fix his car. No one dares that today. So we were somewhere before. But if we talk about going to the Western world, they brought our mess. And there's no way we can settle it without going back to them. None of us would like to be here today. We take the shit. We take everything they give us because of the coverage we're providing back home. I would have loved to be in Nigeria, but who would be glad to be in Nigeria? Insecurity, you are not there. But here you are here. The little kids that have no respect will talk to you anyhow. You are afraid of anyone. So back to the Chatham House. You see that Peter was talking from where he is used to. He was calling people by name. He was apart with them. He wasn't fidgeting. He wasn't seeing himself as an inferior person. He saw himself as an equal before them, addressing them one after the other. And you see the big shop, somebody like Paul, who was an ambassador in High Commission in Nigeria. He was there and he threw questions to him and he told him what he has in store for Nigeria. He said, I am now in private business and I am wooing people to go to Africa, but people are hurting going to Nigeria because of certain policies. So, and that statement alone tells us that if P2B becomes the president of Nigeria tomorrow, we're going to have foreign investors. And there's no country develops in isolation. So we should not think that we can still go back to thinking that Nigeria should do all their things within Nigeria is just thinking about going back to the ancient time. Now, with the global world, if we want to develop, we just need the best brains in forefront, and they can attract people from all walks of life. Thank you, Ru.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sammy, welcome to the show. Sammy, unmute yourself.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Rudolph.
Hi, Sammy. How are you?
I'm very fine.
Okay.
I want to greet every person in the house.
Yeah. Did you watch the speech?
Yes, I joined at the time. I want to say I'm very much happy. It was a very great one. You know, as a Nigerian, you know, when you see somebody aspiring to be Nigerian president going to a place like Chatham House to, you know, you know, talk as if he's unprepared, you will be ashamed yourself, even though you are not there. So that was actually what happened to me when I watched that of Tinubu. I have much respect for him anyway. But today, although I didn't join from the onset, but at the time I joined, I saw what P2B was doing. I was so much happy. I decided to watch till the end. In fact, I'm in Nigeria. Maybe you will see from the background. So when my phone got off, I mean, when my battery was off, I needed to use my laptop to make sure I watch everything so that I wouldn't be told any stories. You know, but of the truth, I want to tell you that I was very happy what I saw, and it's really a great one. But what I want to say is, you see, one of the, I think Mr. Arome pointed at that regarding the dredging of River Niger, and the fact big rivers in Nigeria, not only River Niger, from what Peter Obi said. You know, I know that just a couple of months back, we suffered heavily from flood that ravaged almost every state in the east and the west, or south precisely. You know, and I know that one of the things, one of the solutions is to dredge the river so that it will go deeper. When it is deeper, you know, the level will not be, it will no longer be easy for flood to flash people's houses and all that, or at the slightest maybe rainfall or whatever. You know, so what I'm trying to say is a welcome development, and I know, like somebody also pointed out, that P2B is a very is very down to earth, and is somebody that can listen to people, and also he doesn't just do something like a mediocre. He will carry out certain assessment, impact assessment, analysis, and risk assessment, of course, before you can carry out that. So what I want to say, I think the person that was complaining has left this group now, but I want to say that he has nothing to be afraid of. Now, coming to the issue of P2B going to the Chatham House or to overseas to disgrace us, like one of my brothers there, forefather said, I don't think it's entirely the truth. It's true. In fact, it would have been the case if he had gone there to do what the other person did. You know, and I believe that, you know, this morning I was listening to Arise News, where a particular somebody was being asked a question. Dele Farrow, to me, is one of the spokespersons of Labour Party. He was, you know, telling them the programs on ground. And also at the time I watched Falana also on Arise TV. I think Arise TV, I think it's Arise TV. He was talking about all the political presidential aspirants not, you know, bringing issues to the table and all that. But I was glad when I heard what P2B said. The truth is that some of these things, they may not be able to say everything and give us details of what they are going to do. They are just human beings. But when questions are raised, you see them, you know, tackling issues and then addressing certain issues. But what I want to beg Nigerians is that if we must go move forward, if Nigeria must get it right this time around, all of us should assess each of these presidential aspirants with open-heartedness. We need to we need to do away with ethnicity and tribalism and nepotism, because these are the things that have, held Nigeria bound and down all these years.
All right.
If you look at the current setting, please let me just say this. If you look at what is going on in Nigeria for 7.5 years, you see that it's just a case of a leader, valuing his people, trying to compensate his people more than every other tribe in Nigeria. And that is what is holding Nigeria down. And if it continues that way, that kind of politics, in the next maybe 4 years, there won't be any country called Nigeria. So what I want to say, people should assess all these presidential aspirants with open heart and vote the right person, irrespective of where that person is coming from. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. We appreciate you, Sammy. Okija, I'm trying to actually get someone who was at the Chatham House to speak to us. So I'm working on that while we hear your reactions. Okija, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Good morning, guys. Rudolph woke up also this morning. Today is Martin Luther King holiday. I was trying to sleep till like 12, till noon, but Rudolph's message woke me up. Anyway, forefathers, I respect you a lot, but I think talking about Peter Ob's dress, like it was kind of low, so I'm gonna knock you on that. I don't know what you expect. You want him to dress up like have Abada and all those things and go to IDP.
I'm just saying that he should be dressing for Nigerians here just as well as he's dressing for them overseas.
Sometimes it depends on the occasion.
Why is he not looking as good as he's looking there now? Because he was looking brilliant. Why was he not looking brilliant for us here?
Come on, bro. He's not every day is not even no matter how, even if you're a dresser, every day, one day, you mess up. So I mean, like, you don't expect him to go to IDP camp, dressed up. So he's jumping from helicopter to helicopter and going campaigning. You don't expect him to dress or have time to dress up.
I'm sorry. Okay, say you can knock me out, Rudolph. Forefather, I respect everything you say. Yeah. That dressing, I don't just get it. I've seen Peter dressed even better than today. This is how this man dressed, for heaven's sake.
No. I think today's one. No. He was looking exceptionally good today. No. His charisma was different today. His charisma was different today. Let's face it. You have that. Why was he not doing that all this while? Why are we not seeing him like that in Kaduna or anything? Why is he always
very passionate about Peter? They allow him. I love what he's
right. To do the thing right. Look at how cool he's looking there. Then when he comes to Nigeria, he starts looking like somebody that got out to be.
Look at he's not dressing any different from the way he dresses normally. Go and
hold on, guys. Forefathers, what is it? Because I had to go back and get the picture and see.
Yes, get me another one. No, the other shirt, the other one he wears, it looks like it's not well pressed or something, or the tailor is different. I don't know. This one looks different. Check it.
This one looks different.
Put other videos now. Put the recent Nigeria videos.
You're very funny. You're very funny.
You're just trying to make trouble.
No, that was a passive statement. Anyway, I wasn't exactly focused on that. I was more focused on why they are even going there in the first place.
Anyway, okay. My second point is, I went to Chatham House. I criticized it. I followed forefathers. But after a while, I thought about it. This is image laundering. I think was it Buhari? They paid about I don't know how many billion naira to a PR firm in US to launder his image. But this is cheaper publicity. You don't need to pay anything. You just go out there and talk about Nigeria. If you know about how China developed, a lot of Taiwanese, they invested in China. We don't have a cousin, that we pump money into Nigeria. So this is an opportunity for Peter to go and present Nigeria, present himself, because the international community, they have to trust, the leader first, his policies before they can be able to say, okay, we are going to invest in this country. So he got cheap publicity. You have a Chatham, and it's not other countries. It's not Chatham House. It's not only the venue for image laundering. There are other places. There are other. You have a U.S. Foreign Relation Council. You know, they have things like that also. They have them all over the world. But you know, you understand.
Why not Chinese one? They never go to China and India. Is it only London and
Chinese? They launder their own
US?
image, but they don't necessarily go to Chatham House. They launder their image as well. So, but
our leaders don't go to China.
But you have to understand.
Why is it only these two countries?
You have to understand where we are. You know, the ladder. You know, we're so low, but hopefully, you know, when we come up, we don't need to, you know, go to Chatham House. Our people will come to us, you know, to launder their own image. Other countries in Africa, they come to Nigeria to launder their own image. Okay, so you don't just have to.
Are we lower than Sri Lanka?
I don't know. In terms of economic activities, I think they're higher because we don't produce anything. They produce things. We don't. So I would say that we are lower. We are lower than Vietnam. You know, so I mean, you don't, you know, let's, you know, what we have to think about, what dividend would this, you know, yield, you know, whatever, you know, like, you know, whatever, however we get it, let us get it, you know, something out of it. Foreign investors, you know, that we will take it. $30 billion in export for a country of about more than 200 million people. That's too low. So no matter everything we have to do to get people to come into Nigeria, you know, even if people really should go to Chatham House and be dancing naked, you know, they should just go do that.
All right.
Let them bring our Nigerians back. Our Nigerians that are busy running away all over the place. We are not even taxing them. They go overseas. They barely send 2% of their total income back to the country. No, the government is not taxing them. So there are so many things we could be doing ourselves to fix ourselves. We don't need people. You just think we do, but we really don't. We just need to organize ourselves better.
Professor, let's go through and then you can come back and have so you know, I just found out that for the election, we are spending 355 billion. That's the cost of the election.
Yeah, that's around 300 million.
Rudolph, that was one of the things also I wanted to talk to him about. INEC, EU, UK, they give INEC grants. So INEC is responsible to them somehow. So the INEC going there to address them. It's not a bad thing. He should, you know, they are the people who pay him somehow.
All right, Kenneth, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dr. Nemegis. This is an impromptu show this morning, so I wasn't even aware of that until I went on my Facebook. But this is it. I understand where forefather is coming from. I for one, I was against the Chatham House appearance last time, you remember? But seeing P2B at the Chatham House today, I think I'm beginning to have a change of mind, just like Augustine did. And my reason, yes, and my reason being that you know, I think the appearance of P2B today is kind of set a standard, a kind of should I say benchmark, where you have a distinction between excellence and mediocrity. You know, the international community, I think they will be able to, for themselves, you know, be able to identify a good leader between these people that have appeared at the Chatham House. It's not about coming there and you'll not be able to answer questions. You assign each and every question to your subordinate. But here you have a man standing tall, giving you answers to each and every question, assuring you that he's going to take that country to a greater level. Talking about the security issue, I don't think P2B should be exposing his whatever plans he have for the security of the country to the public. I think last time he was on Arise TV, he even swore that he's not going to expose anything. That should be, you know, left for him to handle when he gets there. And this is it. We know our country. There's this guy in Imo State, one Ugo Shinyere, right? That guy has been outspoken, you know, challenging the Imo State government. And I think last week, just last week, his house was invaded. And I think he escaped, you know, being killed. This is what you have in Nigeria whenever you talk, you know, trying to probe the cabals or the criminal gangsters that we have in that country. They come after your life. And I think P2B is trying to be, you know, smart handling this security issue, because you and I know that the security issue in Nigeria is a planned or arranged way of making the country dry. And you know how much they budget in security every year, and nothing impactful has been done about that. And I think another reason why I retract my being against the Chatham House is because I think they are using that platform to kind of demand for cooperation from international body and also seek for equality. If not, Nigeria as it is now. Last time I went to Atlanta Zoo and I was watching some animals, I was seeing some resemblance, between these animals and some leaders in that country. But on a second thought, I said, no, things are organized here. I think that Nigerian thing, the way we live in Nigeria should be equated to wildlife, jungle. So seeking that international cooperation in order to bring in equality will help to kind of limit some excesses, within the leaders. If not, they will possess excessive power that they can use to subjugate others and, have everything for themselves. And for the P2B's dressing, I don't know why Forefather is so particular about his dressing. You and I know. There was a time during,
you guys are the one making a big deal. I just said it for a flippant second. Everybody's talking about it.
Let me tell you why P2B should dress smart and dress better now, because P2B, I think in that Chatham House, is well regulated in terms of the atmospheric condition or whatever you call it, the AC. They have better AC, better electricity. So you can wear any clothes and still feel good. But in Nigeria, everywhere is hot and dusty, man. You don't expect him to wear that kind of expensive dress in a dusty environment, There was a time during Ngige's regime in Anambra State, whenever I get to Opiweka, if you know Onisha too well, Opiweka, sometimes I got there very late and I need to go home. So I have to, what I would do? I will fold my trousers, fold it just to appear like a rascal, so that, I will kind of deter criminals, from coming after me. So I will just dress like an aboro, and then I'll have to walk from Opiweka to wherever I will get bus to, proceed my journey. So in Nigeria, you dress like them. When you get to the foreign country, you dress like them.
Sorry,
Here you have your hoodie.
Can they say it? P2B is downgrading his dress
Go to Google,
when in
type
Nigeria.
P2B and click on images. You will find Peter dressed even better than today in Nigeria.
I understand
the
you.
point you're making, Kenneth, is to justify that there's something different. Nothing is different.
I'm using the worst case scenario now. I understand what you're saying. I understand. You and I know that P2B always dress smart, whatever he is. But I don't know why Forefather is so particular about that.
All right.
So
Thank you.
I support P2B, as you all know. He's the only one making sense so far at that Chatham House, and we pray that. But the unfortunate part of it is that you see this Chatham House presentation that they're doing right now. When you get to Nigeria, it's only the elite, the well-to-do who can afford data that will be able to watch this. Go to the villages where they don't have electricity, even the cities. They barely watch this program. They barely follow up with this kind of program. So we did that. The diasporans are the one actually debating on all, this kind of thing. But in Nigeria, just select few are able to watch this kind of thing. And that is why we are calling for a better government where there will be electricity everywhere. There will be internet everywhere. People will be well informed.
Okay.
Can be able to choose the right candidate.
Thank you. CM, welcome to the show. CM, were you, I know you're in the UK, were you at Chatham House? CM, no? Yeah, CM.
I sent him paper yesterday. I don't know why he hasn't upgraded it.
CM, go ahead. We are laughing. We can just make us laugh whenever we call you.
Okay. I wasn't at the Chatham.
What are we gonna do? What are we
I
gonna
think
do?
his network is bad.
Hold on, let's go to
Yeah, I think this guy once said when people drop off, his signal can come through if we drop off.
No, but other people are connecting and people are here and you can hear them.
Why?
Why is it only CM that has problems? CM is not
CM, we cannot hear you. You're cutting off. We can't hear you.
No, to be honest with you.
CM will come back
Can
to
you
you.
try
Okay?
to come back here?
Adam, welcome to the show. Adam, unmute yourself, please. Okay, CM brought the spirit of Adam. Can you hear us?
Adam has froze.
Yeah.
You froze in the Bible.
Adam, can you hear us? All right. So we'll move the conversation in a different direction. So can we now say I wanted to know people in the UK if they could check tomorrow for us if there is any newspaper or any TV station that will carry this event. And for those who are beginning to like Chatham House, remember that on Wednesday, Kwankwaso will be there, and I hope we will all watch. I think the point I want to make for me is that if we had got this, if we had gotten these political candidates to debate in Nigeria and talk to the Nigerian people, maybe there wouldn't have been any need for them to go abroad. But since we cannot, and they decide that, Tinubu was the first that decided that I would rather talk to people outside of the country. I think it's proper for the rest of them who may want to go there and also talk to the people, whoever the international community is, that will listen to them. I think there's a reason for that. So I would like to also watch Kwankwaso when he goes there. And sometimes we know that some of these candidates, they have a lot to offer, but because we don't know them, we don't see them, we don't hear them the way we hear about the main ones, it will be an opportunity. Every opportunity in politics is for you to showcase what you have. All right. Adam, can you hear us? Oh, okay.
Okay.
Adam, let's try again. Adam, can you hear us?
Excuse me, Rudolph. Are you saying there won't be a presidential debate?
Oh, we are done.
They still have to give us a presidential debate here in Nigeria. That doesn't mean going to Chatham House doesn't mean that we will not have a presidential debate here.
If you're waiting for that, you're wasting time. They are moving on to February 25th. Look at their schedule. There's no room for debate anymore. Abi, go ahead.
No, I just to back what you said about if talking about media houses, we will watch out for that. I will watch out for that. But one thing that was mentioned today that is of note is the moderator had to specifically say, "I need to let you all know that for some reason we have over 60,000 people watching." That is a first, okay? And I'll try to look how many people watch. It may be inconsequential to my good friend forefathers, but these little things could count. It could mean the kind of demography of the kind of people who follow Peter Obi are in certain class of people, which coincidentally form cumulatively about 70% of the voters who registered, the middle age and the youth, about 33 and 37%. That's about 70%. So that's just one point I just want to shoot out, that it seems that the viewing record was broken today, or is a new viewing record is set today for this kind of thing. Yeah.
Very, very good point. For fathers.
But I think it's a corrosive culture for us to start building, and we keep saying that we want to change for the better. Now we are now using foreign capitals and publications or news outlets as a measure of how we elect our leaders, and that is a corrosive culture. We really need to pull away from it, because Nigeria belongs to a class of countries that cannot afford this. Because our predicament is that if we carry this level of culture on, we are not gonna go anywhere. Africa is not gonna progress anywhere. Sooner or later, we are going to have to realize that we belong to our own class. I see the Indian president went to the US. It's not a big deal. The leaders sometimes can go overseas. But if you make it a routine, a culture now that they have to appear in the UK as a form of this thing, it's like you are subliminally telling your people that you are not worthy, because they know their leaders are not coming over to Nigeria.
I don't think so, Father. Just like Okija said, he said, this is where we are. You see, Peking wasted day down. we want fight a 6 foot tall guy, he go die. They go don't kick him for dustbin, kill him.
You're not fighting. You're
Look
just not
at
going.
no, I'm just making a comparison that we're still a weakling. Let's take advantage of whatever and maybe use this to push everything that you have preferred. I've listened to you for months. It's fantastic idea. You've nailed on security. While you and I are abroad, I went to Nigeria recently. Now with prayer and juju and all scheming. Now I take waka, go my village for so they come back. They deny people of information, not knowing where I am. Maybe they don't kidnap me. So you're right. You have something, but I think we need to come back to a realization of where you are and begin to map
My fear is,
strategically to get out of it.
I hear what
Sometimes
you are saying, and I hear what Okija said, because we have to know our position. Yes, it's true. But I fear that we are playing a game whereby we expect the boogeyman to fall down and die before we go and build our own.
I don't
That
think
is not
so.
going to happen. They are
No, I
watching
don't think
us closely. They are watching every single move we make. Because if I was the one on the other side, they are watching every single move we make. If you think you're going to outsmart them, you are mistaken. The only way you can do it is if you stand up on your own and be ready to take the hit when they punch you, or you tell them, "Don't punch me. If you punch me, I'm going to hit back." Then you go and because Peter B has the power, or he's about if he becomes the president, he will have the power to change the direction of the country. But sometimes other people, even if you when you become successful, your friends they will not like you. There will be people that will not like you when you start becoming successful. If you think you're going to keep them on your side and you're going to be successful at the same time, I don't think we are going to make it. We are not going to
but
make
the
it.
guy is not even there yet, forefather. It's not there yet. So
No, it's just an idea. The idea is the culture. I'm saying that we have to change that culture.
Okay,
sir. Hold on. Okay, let's hear from people who just joined us because we'll come back to this conversation. I want you to. You also know that if people are like you, a lot of people in Nigeria are like you, forefathers, they have an option. They could say, you know what, we're not going to vote for anybody that went to Chatham House. I'll vote for Showore because there's Showore there. There are people who are not coming to Chatham House. By the
Showore
way,
is the option.
Next Sunday, Showore is coming on the show. So if you guys,
Wow, that's great.
Bello, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Damages. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, I just come in to just make an observation, and it's about because I came in when Mr. King was making his speech, and I think that is not really. I mean, it's a very very unfortunate speech, and it's not a speech that should be condoned even by you yourself on your show. I mean, in the name of politics, or probably being emotional about whoever we support. I mean, it's fine, it's good to support somebody. I mean, it is fine. It is anybody's right. But coming on public space to to compare people with monkey zoos, to say, when others are coming to Chatham House, it don't make no sense. But because your own man is coming now, it is the best time. Is this is the? I mean, come on. I mean, we should. This is from all these hypocrisy. It's very very wrong, and we need to. I mean, we are all Nigerians. Regardless of our background or our tribe or whatever. First thing first, especially for us who are outside the country. Wherever you go, before you're carrying the green passport. Before anybody asks you which tribe do you belong to, you first they see you are in Nigeria. That's what they ask you. Where are you from? You say you are in Nigeria. You won't tell them you are Igbo, you are Yoruba, or you are an Hausa man. We should be able to like try to caution ourselves in public space. I don't see this that kind of statement as funny. It is not funny. You can't even take that from a white man in another man's country. Why will you call your fellow black man monkey? I mean, it is not an acceptable statement. Thank you. That is just the observation I'm here to kind of clarify. Thank you.
Mr. Bello, thank you. I understand why you are angry that I referred to your leaders as monkeys and baboon, but I'm sorry I use a less derogatory word to qualify them. And this is my reason. I should have used something better. They are not just animal, but they are wild animal. In a country where 5 times animals were accused of either swallowing or escaping with funds. In 2018, let me remind you, in 2018, snake was accused of consuming 36 million naira. The same 2018, gorilla consumed 6.8 million naira, meant for zoo patrons. In the same 2018, monkey consumed 70 million naira. Goat was accused of embezzling 50 billion naira meant for charities during the COVID. The fifth one was elephant that escaped with 25 million naira. Have you ever heard this kind of nonsense in any other country?
Kene, what you
My
didn't tell
friend,
us is
let me
what was
tell
the
you something.
conviction? What was the conviction
My
for all
friend,
of them?
my friend.
And you think they are not worse than animals?
Okay, hold on.
A
Look,
country where you cannot question the leaders, they will send their thugs to go and kill you.
Now, the same Peter Obi that you are
Right?
calling, that you are trying to compare as God, okay? He was part of a government that
I don't
was
care who is part
corrupt.
of the government. I
Okay,
generalized my
he
statement.
was
I
part
said
of
you
a
are
government
leaders.
that was
So I
corrupt.
don't know why
That
you are trying to. I don't know why you are trying to exonerate anyone from them. I said Nigerian leaders,
listen to
and I
me.
did not exonerate
Then,
anybody.
if you are trying to compare
So I
somebody
don't know
like a
why you are
goat as
trying
an
to play
animal,
your
you call
tribal
all of them
sentiment
an
here.
animal. I'm
See,
not playing
the
nonsense
tribal
about it.
card is
You are
not
the
going to
one that
work,
is making
Okay,
the
and
hold
I'm
on.
tribal
not going to.
statement. You are the one that is playing
Hold
the
on.
tribal card. And I'm
Ekene,
telling,
sorry,
and
let
I'm
me,
putting it.
Bello, where is
Please,
sorry?
Peter Obi was
please
part of the
call them off.
government
They are
that
fighting.
produced.
Bello,
Yeah.
I
sorry.
think
There's
Excuse me.
animal
Bella, hold on. Bella,
Bello.
hold on.
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah, please. I thought the first thing we should do is to listen. When Ekele gave analogy, he called leaders. But Bello had a certain part of the country. When you call leader, he's calling Hope Uzodinma, he's calling Orji Zokalo, he's calling T.A. Orji, he's calling every one of them leader. So I don't know why you had from your own part of the country. I mean, you are the one that is really provoking the cultural sentiment here. He used the word leaders, and our leaders are like animals. You can't differentiate.
and he's not wrong.
And he's not wrong. So I don't know why you're angry over that statement.
Let me also say
Bello,
this.
calm down.
I
We are
know.
not fighting,
Hold on.
right?
Can you hold on?
Yeah.
Let me say this, Bello. I understand, and maybe one of the reasons why this program is different is two things. One is that is have your say, and as much as possible, we want people to have your say, and also we trust that there are people like you, people who are watching at home, who can differentiate, who can be able to say we don't agree with this person, and they air their view too. Okay, so that's why we encourage conversation, real conversation, but we want to make sure that we don't shut down anybody. People have different ways of expressing themselves. We prefer that people respect each other. People, talk in a certain time. Sometimes people can lose it and say things, but in any case, we want people to be able to be free to express themselves, just like the way you can come here. And we trust that we have 10 people here, different opinions, and somebody will correct someone they think is wrong. And sometimes it may come out to be that the person is just from their own perspective, how they see the world. We can all see the world the same way. It doesn't mean that the country will not stand. The fact that anybody calls me an animal, a monkey, or a goat doesn't mean I won't come out tomorrow and do what I'm doing and live my life. So I believe that there should be freedom of expression on each side. Those who are opposing something, those supporting something. But at the end, what I tell everybody here is that the image we portray is how we are seen, and we go about our lives and we see people who identify us because we are here, we're on different platforms, and that's how they will see us. So if you're comfortable the way you want to characterize the country or the people, that's okay. If you think, I know people who think that everything is perfect in Nigeria, that we should all be happy, we shouldn't complain. That's their position. So thank you. Let me hear from
Rudolph, let me just say something about what Bello said. I think what we should be observing from our people. Kene said he didn't like when this in Tinubu was there, and because he saw Peter Obi now, he starts admiring this. And I think this is what we tend to do with everything else. When it's our own person, we excuse unacceptable culture.
Don't say our own
And we
person.
shouldn't do
Don't say
that.
our own person.
So somebody we support. Somebody we
say
support. I
that.
don't know I care about one person. Somebody we support. A corrosive.
Forefathers, let me clarify this further, right?
Okay.
My statement concerning the Chatham House is entirely different from when I generalize what I referred to Nigerian leaders as, right? When I referred to them as animals, whenever I'm doing that on this platform, I wish that they are watching this program so that they will hear that their own citizens are referring to them as animals. See, I don't care if you are my father, if you are my uncle, provided you were a bad leader, I refer to you as an animal, whether you are Igbo, Yoruba, or Hausa, right? Provided you support how this leadership is going on in Nigeria right now as it is today, you are in that category. So Bello, we are not fighting. Right?
How about the
I'm not being tribalistic. I don't play that tribal
not
That's the
sentiment.
point I raised. He just
Right?
addressed
Yes.
a different point.
My point is this.
So I don't play that tribal
when you
sentiment,
talk
right?
about Nigerian
So
leaders,
this is it.
Let's hear.
Everybody that is campaigning for an election in Nigeria today, except people like Showore and people that have never been in government before, they are all guilty of this. Peter Obi that you are, that you are beautifying with beautiful words and everything was part of Nigeria. He was a governor. He has been in the presidency. They are all bad leaders. I'm not here to try to
Hold
talk
on.
about
See,
one person is
stop
a good leader, one
that
person
kind of system doesn't work with me.
Hold
See,
on.
if you want to
they
address
are
an
all
issue,
bad leaders. They
Let
are
me
all
finish.
bad leaders. They are all bad leaders. You don't say just because probably you are following somebody right now. I'm not here for ethnic sentiment. You talk about ethnic blah blah blah. I'm not an ethnic jingoist or whatever. I'm here for a better Nigeria. You get what I'm saying now? And talking about better Nigeria, if I'll be following anybody, the best candidate of all of them is Showore. That guy don't fear anybody. He don't give a heck about, who is we. Say it as it is. I respect that kind of person like that. But, we're talking about people, you're talking about ethnic stuff. You people, I mean, I hate saying, making a statement directing at a particular people. But the fact remains that the other day, Brimo says something stupid, and I condemn that in totality. But even on this social media street, go to Twitter, go to Instagram, you says anything that's against any Igbo or Peter Obi, the way these people, they'll come after you, they'll curse you, they'll curse your father, they'll curse your mother, they'll curse. You cannot do half of that thing they do to you. You cannot do it to them. Heaven and earth will almost collapse. That is not the way to do. And even to rule a people is not the way to go about, ruling a people. It's not the best way.
All right.
please, Dr. Damages, please, can you give me a little time to address this fellow? I think he's suffering from something that I have to tell him what his problem is right now.
Okay.
Right?
Hold on.
The context with which I address the Chatham House is entirely different. Please,
Rudolph,
Dr.
can I
Damages, give me time
interject
for me to address this guy. He's trying to play a game here.
Can I want you to speak, but just 2 minutes. So make
Okay,
it
sir.
6. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So, Mr. Bello, please, that tribal sentiment that you're trying to play here is not going to work. We are not here for tribalism. When I address Chatham House, maybe you were not here when I was doing that. It was on an entire separate contest to when I was addressing the Nigerian leaders. Different context altogether. So if you were not here when I was addressing that, please ask questions. Don't come here and start playing that tribal
I
sentiment.
heard you
Hold on. When you're
condemn
talking, I did
all
not
of them.
interject. Please.
I heard
I did
you
not
said
interject.
condemn all
I
of
did
them.
not
But now you are
interject.
talking,
I did not
spin everything
interject
about
when you were
Peter Obi.
talking. Please, Dr. Damages,
Mr.
mute this
Rudolph,
guy.
can you override this argument, please?
Please, if you have the problem of tribal bigotry, please keep it in your own side. We don't play it here, please. We are here trying to make Nigeria work for everybody,
Rudolph,
not to be playing tribal
there was a
sentiment here.
point I made
If you are
earlier
supporting
on.
Sowore, go ahead and support Sowore.
Can you stop, please? There was a point I made earlier on about what Kene did that we do quite often, where you stand in this position today, but because it's a candidate you like tomorrow, you change your position, and that is
No,
not good.
every time this
Because
is your
you
problem.
were
When
against
your husband does
Chatham House
something, instead of you to
when the other
appreciate
guy
it,
was there, but when your guy is there now, you said it yourself. You change your view, and that is not. I don't know. That is wishy-washy to me. Because I was against Tinubu then, and I'm against what Peter Obi did today too. Even if I like what he said, but I still am against in principle why he showed up at Chatham House. And I
Forefathers,
think we need to be
I don't
we
know
have to
it
be
all. We
consistent
are
like
all
that.
here to learn. So we learn
Just
every
be
day. I don't know
consistent.
it all.
That's
If
what
you
he's
think you
saying.
know
Be
it all,
consistent.
that is your own. I don't know it all. I
God,
learn
God
every day.
bless you,
So I have the
forefather.
right to retract what I say. I
Okay.
wasn't the only one that did that.
God bless you,
People did that.
forefathers. Okay.
Okay, has it occurred to you
Let us
guys?
say let us
Forefathers, has it
All right, hold on, guys. I have to call someone before they speak. People
Exactly.
just feel like they can just speak, and then it becomes chaotic. All right, so we're moving up from this. I think we've learned something from this. Everybody had the chance to air their view. There's somebody who has not said anything about the speech, and I want to hear from him. Austin, what do you want to say? I call
So
you. Yeah, go ahead.
what I wanted to say here is about what forefather said. And I got Ekene made 3 points. On the level of leadership, he generalized it. But for Bello coming up to tell us that all our leaders have been so bad, I got it wrong. There is nothing good or bad unless by comparison. You cannot tell me that Ambode didn't do well. You cannot tell me that Zulu is not a good guy. And there is no way you will condemn Peter Obi when he was the governor of Anambra State. So coming to tell me that all the leaders are bad leaders is wrong. But when Ekene did his analysis on leaders, he made a general statement. And also you're making a general statement by saying that everyone that has ever governed Nigeria is bad. I don't get that. It's wrong.
Mr. Augustine, let me address you on that. With due respect, there is none of our leaders that are perfect. Okay, many of them, they have their good side, and also they have the part that they didn't quite do pretty well. So saying, oh, just because Ambode do this, Ambode do that, the same Ambode abandoned the project that Sanwo-Olu is brandishing as his best project now, which is the rail. Okay, but you're talking about going back to Peter Obi. I mean, we heard a lot of things about Peter Obi in his government. When they said he kept deporting people from his state and all of people from other states from his state like that. I'm not here to try to condemn one person, but what I'm telling you is that none of these leaders are perfect. Okay, and that is my point. And now trying to say, okay, just because we have our own, personal sentiment of whoever we are following, or we are supporting, to now, try to call the other people bad names. I mean, bro, that's not a good way to go.
Finally, Bello.
No.
Finally, at this point.
Austin, leave it, because we
Okay.
go back and forth. It's not going to end. Basic Express, welcome to the show. Unmute yourself, please. Oh, he can't find the button. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Did you watch the speech? Because
No, I have not had the privilege of watching the speech yet.
Okay.
But I am here observing the conversation that is going on here.
Okay.
And I would put myself in the category of a senior citizen. And here is why I would do that. I am here on a second missionary journey. Not by choice. I will start with displaying this passport, which possibly some of you have seen it. I call it the passport of Malamilia. This passport was issued as far back as 1976. That's my passport. And when I came to the United States, I did not know that there was such a thing as racism. Everybody was the same. And I'm sure some of you have witnessed the same thing until you live in the society. Briefly, in the conversation that we're having here, you may have read the book Animal Farm. There are so many ways of saying the same thing without offending anybody. Only the person who is guilty will look at themselves and see themselves in a picture that you have painted. You don't need to call anybody's name. And if you have to call names, you will directly say the reason why you are calling names. Why do I say that? And it's not everybody that loves all our leaders. If you go to certain part of the country and mention a particular leader, people may want to stone you. For instance, if you go to Igbo land and talk about Sam Bakwe, there are a lot of people who will tell you, don't go there, leave it alone. Those were the good old golden days. Fast forward, we here are the face of the change we are intending to bring to that country, our country, called Nigeria. I received the flag and a cup in 1960, ushering in Nigeria's independence as a child. With that, wherever I go, I represent Nigeria, regardless of what has happened through the course of the war. I came here, finished, went back in 81, did the National Youth Service Corps, obtained my certificate, spent 9 years on the ground, learning both sides of the coins. That equipped me. Of course, we all speaking here, we know the right and we know the wrong. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. Black is black, white is white. You can't paint it otherwise. So in a nutshell, like I said, I have not watched the speech, but I've followed the Nigerian political rigmarole and what is going on now up to date. My appeal to us, folks, is that let us not only be civil, let us show the example of what we are trying to do for our people in Nigeria. But let us also bear in mind that they are looking at you, me, all of us. They are looking at you as outsiders. You want to come and bring that to your sense, to come and change us. They are resisting, and that is why all the garbage that is going on continues to go on in Nigeria today. So without much ado, I will continue to listen. I just wanted to say, I declared myself a senior citizen. Don't even ask me how old I am, because I may not be able to exactly tell you. But I think I bring to the table some level of appreciation of what we are discussing here. That's why I said I've not listened to Peter Obi's speech at the Chatham House. And then talking about why do they go to Chatham House to go and have conversations there? Esther codes, if anybody tells you how much millions of naira or dollars have been sent for them to go there, you will shake your head.
All right.
Meanwhile, we have been asking for them to have a debate in Nigeria, which we now know is not about to happen. It's all about how much catch and carry. Let's stop this, find a way to stop this catch and carry approach. Let's find a way to let them know, please spend our money wisely so that we can be able to, and our children will be able to come back to Nigeria.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Basic Express. Let's look at something just in rounding up now. I saw this headline, and it says Atiku didn't reply to our invitation, Chatham House. So there was an invitation for Atiku to appear at Chatham House. He did not reply them. Moving forward, we know on Wednesday that Kwankwaso will speak. What are you expecting to hear from Kwankwaso? And I'll start with you there, Eddie.
I expect him to speak well. Honestly, if not for equity that me as a Yoruba man believe right now is a turn. Now, Peter Obi doesn't like this, but it's part of, this doesn't diminish the individuality of Peter Obi that he presents, cerebral, with good antecedent. Please, this statement I'm trying to make is part of how I align with the Afeniferes from my region. That for equity, Peter Obi should be, an Igbo man must be the president of the country, and there's nothing wrong with that for equity. If not for that, if let's say Peter Obi was not in this race, and for the fact that we have not had an Igbo man be president, it must happen. If it was Kwankwaso and the Bala Bulu and Mekano that are there, of course, I would choose Kwankwaso based on his antecedents, his level of intelligence, what he has been, how he has presented himself. I will. Bello, no, Bala Bulu knows himself, and you can't stop me from saying that. Bala Bulu blah. So Kwankwaso is a cerebral man, and I expect him to do well. We know that the crowd and the viewing will not be up to today because we know the leading candidate today, irrespective of four people tweeting, all those nonsense has collapsed, and it will collapse on them on February 25. Thank you.
All right, thank you. For Father.
Yeah, it's interesting. Atiku hasn't accepted the listen. I guess in my dreams, I expect Kwankwaso to go there and say, enough of all this. We are not doing this from this place anymore. I'm going to Nigeria to have a debate. But I can always dream. But one of the issues I have with Kwankwaso recently, because he's a very, charming politician. I actually like him and some of the things he's done, his policies that he's been doing over in his this in Kano, or the area where he's from, is quite good. Solid. He has solid results. But recently, he's been saying some things that I find very disturbing. As somebody that is aspiring to be a senior politician in Nigeria, he's making tribal noises, and that is just not appropriate at all. And we have to start setting very high standards for this. You can't come around and expect to be a leader of the country and you are using tribal and religious tropes. You can't be doing that. And this is one of the aspects that gives P2B a leg up to, because P2B doesn't indulge in all these things, and that's what it should be like. We can't be having leaders that come and do this. And I think that, for me, in my eyes, that has tainted Kwankwaso to me. And just like we showed, everybody likes to say he's great and all the rest. But the moment he keeps talking about mercenaries, he's useless to me. And people need to start setting high standard, because in the end, when someone like Kwankwaso does what he did, except he says something that shows that he's actually trying to bring the country together, I might consider that. But he's not once he said that. He's not twice he said that. He's done this 2 or 3 times. And I think I heard that is from the Amadu Bello kind of or Aminu Kanu kind of heritage in the north. And I don't know what that means, but I know what Amadu Bello stands for to an extent. And it's about, there's nothing wrong with trying to better your people, but when you try to better your people by bad-mouthing other people, that is not good. When you try to better your people by being divisive, that's not good. You see what I mean? And I fear that he is doing that. And when I spoke to On Our Politics, he was like, politics. That's not politics. Because the country is going to remain after that, after the election is decided. So from my point of view, I don't know. I'm just going to listen to him. I don't know what I will even listen to him. I really don't know. So I don't care. I really don't care about him anymore. And if I'm going to be worrying, I have to worry about the impact it's going to have on Peter Obi's chances of winning the election in the north. Currently, the only candidate that qualifies for so many reasons that I take is Peter Obi. But when people hear me talking about him today, they will think I was trying to rip in the. You have to set a high standard. You have to set a high standard for your leaders. If you don't do that, they're going to serve you cheap food. The next 4 years, you start complaining that you are still hungry. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Just if I may chime in on forefathers' comment about.
Hold on. Let's go around, please, so that we don't. If you say something now, Father might want to respond to you, and then we will get stuck there. Okay. Go ahead.
Regardless of the fact that they all shouldn't have gone to Chatham House in the first place. Like, if I'm to suggest they shouldn't have gone to Chatham House, any debate, they should have organized a debate here in Nigeria, where, like in a correspondence manner, everybody is here to tell us what they want to do. as this person is saying his own, we are equally hearing from the other person what he's going to say. So regardless of that fact, we can still understand that this person has said something, and maybe we didn't really get what we want to hear, and this is what this person has said, and everybody's applauding him. So I understand that. What I understand that even if it was going to be on a national debate, we can still figure out who have made the best speech there. So though nobody should say that whatever Kwankwaso is going to say on Wednesday doesn't matter. It matters. Understand? It matters, though it might not make impact on other contestants. So, but
Because
it also matters.
Are you in Nigeria?
Yes, I'm in Nigeria.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you this, because that's another factor probably that is driving this. Do you think if you hear that somebody did well abroad, I think that's something that I think goes on in Nigeria, that somebody did well abroad, that gives the person better ranking at home?
Terrible, isn't it?
No. You didn't get my point. The point I was trying to make is that it would have been better.
I'm not about you, but I'm just saying, is that the sentiment there?
Okay.
Still?
No, that's not the sentiment. It's like it's not even supposed to be
why
that
Peter
way.
talks about his credit rating in the UK.
No, listen.
What has his credit rating in the UK got to do with Nigeria?
Hold on.
Sometimes some of us, I don't even understand why they bother.
It's not.
Hold on.
Say.
In the industry that I'm in, something like writing, if you win an award abroad, people in Nigeria, they think now you've arrived, you are a good writer. There are writers in Nigeria who are struggling, who are doing well, but they don't get the same kind of respect that people who won awards abroad get. So that's what I'm saying, that it may apply in politics too. If they say that Tinubu went to London and he wowed them, that means that people will say he's good, or Obi went abroad.
International relations.
Yeah, I understand.
Rudolph, you touched on something there. You touched on something very important there. You saw how Nigerians started watching their own movies, Nollywood movies, and look at what happened. When you don't cherish your own things, yes, good luck ever growing out of it. That Nollywood is a good example. The moment Nigerians started watching their own movies, before you know it, everybody else follows. That's what we need to start doing.
All right, goes a roundup. We have to go.
Yeah. Okay. As I was saying that they were not supposed to hold any meeting in Chatham House, though they were invited to Chatham House. We should not ignore that fact. They were invited. They didn't ask to go there. They were invited to Chatham House.
You can say no. I have appointments. I have campaign things to do. There are 1,001 things. If Escobar invites you, are you gonna go? If a drug lord invites you, are you gonna go? So you can just decline it politely. Exactly. So it's not by force.
This is why I'm not angry with anyone that refused to reply that invitation. You understand? And Atiku is saying he's not going to go. It's not a problem with me. I don't have any issue with that, because.
But also let me mention that in the past, Atiku went there and made a speech, and it was there were problems too with the speech. That may be the reason why he's not going back. I'm just guessing. There was a time he got frozen. He didn't know what to say again during his
Yes, I can remember.
So it's not like he had there before.
Yeah. If this is a standard, if this is a standard now, like everybody going to Chatham House to make a speech, if that's the standard, then they should equally go. That's my view.
All right, go.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Right.
We have two issues here about going to Chatham House and what we expect from Kwankwaso. From Kwankwaso, I am not going to expect excellency. I'm going to expect something that is neat. He's a neat guy. I'm going to expect something that is mature. But my problem with that is the problem of equity and justice. And I hate the fact when rules begins to change because of certain people and particular people. It's offensive that after 8 years of Buhari, somebody in the north, at this point, we have a culture. And when we talk about culture, we should be able to know that we are at a stage at this point. Somebody coming from the north to say that he's the one that will be the best thing that will happen to Nigeria is a problem on justice. It's a problem of justice in the sense that the same people walked away when everyone said Goodluck has not completed his tenure. He had a constitutional tenure, but they walked away and they worked against him, and he lost the election. Now, the same people, after having somebody from the same area for 8 years, wants to continue. What is the morality? What is the justice around that? Well, Kwankwaso is a nice guy. He's a sweet guy when it comes to presentation. Now, on the issue of going to Chatham House, I don't have an issue with that. But I have become so saddened with your statement, Dr. Damages, that we are not expecting debates from these guys back home. And that will be the worst thing that will happen to Nigeria. If those guys will not line up in front row and address the country. And whoever that has initiated that, and some people are supporting that person, is a shame to our country that we have someone who says he won't talk to us. He sees us that we are inferior. And this is the same thing that have happened in 8 years. Every high quality statement of Buhari was made outside Nigeria. Every high quality statement he made was made outside Nigeria. And it's a shame we are going this way. So going to Chatham House is not a problem. Today, those of us living in America, so many people want to go to Nigeria to go and eat our food. But I keep telling them, I can't take you to Nigeria because of insecurity. Why do they want to test our food? Because we have started. Remember that in the past, when we come to Nigeria, when we come to America, we start eating American food. But now, you see African stores everywhere. People are, if they, even in the office, some people carry food into their office. The white people say, this is smelly. Say, your own is smelly too. So we have grown to the point that they have started liking our food. So Chatham House is a place I see that we can sell what we have. If P2B becomes a president tomorrow, because of what he has done in Chatham House today, the world will be more interested to investigate and trace him. So if you don't come out to the open and sell yourself and present what you have, if you remain in the cocoon, nobody will ask after you. I tell you that P2B will win more grant, or if Kwankwaso becomes president, he will win more grant than Tinubu because of the two presentations. What P2B has done, what I'm expecting from Kwankwaso, more international world will be interested in them. Now it depends on them. Some of us in the Western world are still playing puppets to the white people, but some people have said the difference is not in the color, it's in the head. So if P2B is the class of people that says the difference is in the head, if he becomes the president, nobody from any part of the world will play down on him. They will be equals, and he will be able to carry Nigeria to where every right-thinking Nigeria wants Nigeria to be. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okija, you're next.
First of all, for those who are talking about Kenny and his decision flip-flopping on Chatham House, probably you've watched a dance, music, the music is playing, and the dancer is having a bad dance, and because of that you hate the music, and then someone who is a good dancer comes to dance it, and then you become in tune with the dance and the music. So it could be that maybe the last performer wasn't good, and so this performer was better, so he changed his mind. So a man has the right to change his mind. A man who doesn't change his mind, is a fool.
Not when the music is bad music already.
Forefathers,
if the music is saying F your mom, F your mom, F your mom, F your mom, no matter what the dancer is, you should renounce both of them.
Okay, no problem, brother. Until we get there, we will not renounce the music. Kwankwaso, to be honest with you, he has good policies, and but this thing from the Bible, it's not what defines a man is not what goes into the man, but what comes out of the man. Because from abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Kwankwaso, he has good policies, but he thinks he's a flawed candidate. I'll vote for Atiku before I vote for Kwankwaso, because Kwankwaso is ethnic jingoist, and his people, the statement they made about P2B, took me, but I couldn't believe that a politician in Nigeria would make such statement. I mean, like, right now we are trying to be inclusive. I mean, because to be honest with you, for the first time in Nigeria, I've seen Nigerians coming together, showing ethnic sentiment and all those things, especially around P2B. And I was on with Rudolph on NigerianWorld.com, the battle that went there. But after I've seen some people coming together. But then the politician who's supposed to be they are supposed to be the leader, bringing people together, and they are the ones who are driving, putting the dagger and helping the fire. So no matter what he said, even if he's going to transform Nigeria, I don't I don't like that candidate at all because of his ethnic views. And so it doesn't matter to me what he says there. It won't change my mind. So he can go there and mess up. He can go there and come out with flying colors. That doesn't matter to me.
Thank you, Kenneth. You're next.
Yeah, thank you. So about Atiku not responding to Chatham House invitation, I don't think Atiku has anything to say positively towards his campaign. If you check in the recent campaigns, I think Atiku is going back with his campaign. Is not that energy is not there any longer. And personally, I think the reason why they are slowing down with the campaign is because of funding, because their money-making machine or the funder, which is what's his name, Wike, hasn't been able to fund the party any longer. And Atiku himself, being the kind of person he is, he know that he's going nowhere, so he wouldn't want to waste his money going further with the campaign. So, and this is the same person that insulted Tinubu. I think he referred to Tinubu as a disgrace, that he went to Chatham House to disgrace Nigeria, apologizing to the UK government and to international bodies that they shouldn't take Tinubu as though this is how Nigerians are. So he kind of berated Tinubu, and this guy is afraid of going back there at the Chatham House to mess himself up because he has nothing to offer us. Now, talking about Kwankwaso, going to Chatham House, I don't see anything impressive about that. I know some people are saying that Kwankwaso was a good guy. How good is Kwankwaso? Somebody that can look right into your eyes and keep lying to you consistently, knowing that when he was in the office between 1999 to 2003, the debt management office of Nigeria wasn't functional at then, so they don't have record of how Kwankwaso raked Kano State Treasury. But when Kwankwaso came back in a second time between 2011 to 2015, Kwankwaso plugged Kano State into more than 1,000% debt, domestic debt. And this is the same person that is still claiming that he never borrowed. Now we have his record that he actually borrowed more than 1,000%. And this is the same person going to Chatham House. What is he going to tell us there? That he borrowed and there's nothing to show, for it. Comparing him with either Tinubu or Atiku, it's just waste of time. They are all base of a feeder and they are plugging together. So I don't see anything impactful that he's going there to say. He knows how to talk. Sweet talk, trying to tingle your ears, telling you what you want to hear doesn't mean that you're a good leader. After all, we had the words from, what's his name? This guy, the donkey in the Asurok, Buhari, when he was telling us that he was going to make $1 equivalent to 1 naira, he's going to make petrol 5 naira. So we've had those sweet talks, and this is the same part Kwankwaso is playing. The same Kwankwaso, a tribal bigot, religious bigot that is always against his candidates. His competitors based on tribal and religious sentiment. This is the person you want to make a leader. I don't see anything good coming out of this guy. If you want to be a leader, you should be a leader for all, not a leader for the Muslims, nor a leader for your Hausa, Fulani group. Should be a leader for all Nigerians. And this is what's his name? P2B stands for. He's a leader for everybody. And for Sowore, people trying to make reference to Sowore, I've advised Sowore, see, we need to see your antecedent. Go back to your local government. Vie for the position of a local government chairman or a governor. Let's see what you can do with that little position before we'll be able to trust you to giving you the higher position, which is the presidency. Try something smaller. Don't come here and be telling us cock and bull story, and you think we'll listen to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Bello, the next.
Oh well, discussing about Kwankwa. So, for me, the only thing I can discuss about him is, because I tried to compare all these candidates based on, their manifesto. And the only thing that I think is kind of resounding from Kwankwa Soul's manifesto so far is like he has talk about education. I mean, I think I've heard, because I listen to all these candidates, most times, and I think education is the only thing that's really, really, heard him really, try to hammer about, most of the time. But that being said, in our current stage in Nigeria right now, we are at a point where, unfortunately, almost everybody already decided about whoever they want to vote for. You understand? People have decided whether going to Chatham House, going to the White House might not really sway people's votes or the pattern that they are going to vote or how they are going to vote. So, with that being said, for me, realistically and politically speaking, because even though we have our personal sentiment, oh, this is the person I want to win, we should always look back, and sometimes we have to be realistic. And for me, politically and realistically speaking, in Nigeria today, with the way everything is, all this development is, for unfolding and everything. Looking at Atiku's campaign, I heard somebody said it's kind of tired, lacking funding and everything. It's also lacking the support of political gladiators in Nigeria. And that is a fact. Because his own party, there is a divide. And, talking about Peter Obi, there's no gainsaying there. It doesn't have this appealed across that cut across Nigeria. I stand to be corrected. And then this leaves me to this my own personal judgment, and I'll borrow a boy this word about bala blue, blah blah, whether you like it or not, politically speaking, this guy is like, Aso Rock is already, kind of like it's moving to Aso Rock in a kind of, I mean, just come and take, means, and I stand to be corrected, and that is my own, I think, my own honest interpretation. Thank you.
Thank you, Bello. Basic Express.
All right,
Yes,
I just wanted to point out a couple of things. First, I think it was forefathers that said they didn't know much about Aminu Kanu. Aminu Kanu was a man that I would say is like Rudolph. And hear me out. Aminu Kanu is somebody that we in the East will compare him to Francis Akano Ibiam. Aminu Kanu was somebody who owned no properties, even at the point of his death. Go and check the records. What does that mean? Majority of the rest of them have plundered the public funds. So I just wanted to point out, so when you talk about Aminu Kanu, because I hear you didn't know much about him, I grew up in Jos myself, St. Teresa's Boys School. That's where I went to school, Jos. Having said that, we look at the international relations and they're going to Chatham House to speak. They consider it the world stage. I'm of the opinion that as they do outside, let them also do at home. But they have disregarded the masses whom they are supposed to be speaking to, the masses who are supposed to be voting for them. Yes, going to Chatham House is good for international relations for the face of Nigeria because we don't exist in a vacuum. But they should also try to make sure that we don't disregard our own press pool at home. They disregard our press pool at home because that's where they're supposed to be facing. The person when in house there for fire, they burn. They carry knife, they chase rat. It's more like that. And talking about the images that are being out there, perception is everything. The agreement and agreement, when you talked about Atiku, it is because they kept moving the goalpost. That is what they are suffering there. Even at that, some people blinded in South, South, Southeast are still believing that they should go there and bring PDP back to power. I'll move on to something else. It's all about money. Money, money, money. If you don't get money, you don't go Chatham House. And if you don't have any good thing to say, you would stay away from Chatham House because you are afraid that when you are faced with the international press, you may end up blah, 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 blah. Whatever that means. It is a crime shame that if we, as Nigerians, end up re-electing anybody from APC to lead Nigeria, mark my word, what you've seen now is a child's play. Because you are talking about a place where I was looking at a young man lamenting a contract that is supposed to have been done at Somobins or somewhere. And you see that contract being done somewhere in Sokoto or somewhere else. They are playing a serious game that should be brought to the forefront so that we all can see. You don't mount a signboard in my village about a project that is being executed, supposed to be executed in River State. Let's look into that sooner or later, because that place is a pool where the kind of trading that is going on there, it cannot stand in a place like the United States. You will be recalled. You will be very, just like Santos. Santos can go there, but he doesn't sooner or later come back. After all that said and done, you go back to equity. As far as equity is concerned, let me introduce something that will probably shock you all. All of us here, we know we are cap for head, and we can be able to relate to ourselves. But immediately I carry this cap put for my head, the dynamics change. It changes automatically. It's an appeal that I'm making to Nigerians for us, first of all. If you notice Peter B, for instance, as he was going around, the man came out plain and simple as he is. And we all saw that. As he kept on going around, I understand that if you go to Benue, you do as the Benueans do. What Kwankwanso should be doing at this point, even though everybody in the race now believes they can win. Come on now, think about it. Mark what is going to happen. Kwankwanso would most likely collapse his campaign into the LP in the dying days of... They will not tell you, because if he comes out and says it now, his people may stone him. That is one thing we got to get out of that country, for anybody to stop believing that it must be me. Because, mark my word, some of us who have been on the fence, if you go on and you play Ojoro, as they've been planning to, They think it's all about money. Buy everybody, buy everybody. You play a Joro this time around, and we don't hold a credible election. Mark my word that Nigeria will no longer be what we know it to be going forward, because you have more trouble than you have now.
All right. Thank you. Let's CM.
Okay, thank you, Rudolph. What is meaning? Yes, okay. Thank you. On the Chatham House, as a principle, I've never loved Nigerian leaders going to Chatham House, because me, it's a personal opinion. It evokes this aura of a colonialism continuing. I do go to speak you parliament to address you, because that is articulate their foreign policy. But going to Chatham House just to go and to me to colony trying to think just in that they say what is worth doing is worth doing well. If you go there, wait try to give me a pass mark above average or big answer what he has been answering all over in
CM, it doesn't help.
So he gave a good himself. That far he goes.
I think it must be CM's
to
device
address
that is freezing. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't think it's the internet.
Yes, CM. Can it?
Dr. Damages.
Yeah.
Give me a minute. Let me correct what Mr. Bello stated here concerning Peter B's accusation of deporting some Nigerians, right?
Can I know? Sorry.
No, just a minute. I just want to correct that impression, because some people may think that it's true. It's a lie. And even what's his name? Some media houses, including the vice presidential candidate of P2B, who is an Fulani guy, has debunked that. It's a lie. Never existed. I was in Anambra State when P2B was the governor. That did not happen. However, it happened in Lagos State when Fashola was the governor of Lagos State. We all know most Nigerians are, some Nigerians are beggars on the street of Lagos. But for you to come out, for Fashola to now insinuate that the Igbos, that the people he deported were beggars, we all know that the higher percentage or the higher rate of beggars in Lagos State comes from the north, the Hausa Almajiris. They are the beggars on the street. But he kind of singled out Igbos and deported them, which in 2014, the same Fashola came up and apologized for doing that kind of atrocious act against the Igbos. So that being said, Basic Express, I like what you said, but I will prefer Kwankwaso to continue. Yeah, I would like Kwankwaso to continue with his campaign. Never join Labour Party. I think that will, give P2B a better leverage. Let him continue with that. Destroy the voters in the north and keep P2B going. I don't think joining P2B.
All right, Kenny, thank you. Sorry. Hecho, we're rounding up. We have to go. Thank you so much for joining us.
Our people.
Did you watch? Good morning. Did you watch the speech?
I did.
Okay. Now I can listen to you.
First, I commend him for the speech.
Okay.
You know, go do nonsense for them. Going to say do like a Milocon and for slap her from here. So he talk, letting her for talk. If na me did there.
But I haven't finished.
But then I did
that's why we are moving on.
It be like say the slave mentality never come up for their head.
Emilio,
must they go to Chatham House to go tell them say we continue to be slaves before we go to election? How many of these people they come to us? I mean, we not get Chatham House for Ajegule. How many of them don't come to our Chatham House for Ajegule? Come talk to us before the election. So this mentality of slavery of the black man It's annoying. As we smart and intelligent reach, we still subject ourselves to perpetual slave. Anyway, special announcement to them in Chartered House. Now this 2023 election, now go see our foolish Bugatti leader go come to now before our election. Come 2027, when my children go take over, none of them that come from my lunch go come Charter that come tell una say we wan contest election. Now like this we wan do our country. Una dey craze for Charter House o. Now we dey do decision with una. How una dey rule una Queen City abi na America? This nonsense will stop. We are smart. We are intelligent. We are queen and prince. We are kings and we are princess. That is who we are as Black people. And I will refuse you people to continue to define us. We will write our own story. We will tell our own story. We will define ourselves.
Thank you, Echo. Thank you so much for that input. Let me just before I call Janaba to round up for us, let me just say that like what forefathers, the issue about this going to Chatham House. If you look at it this way, how many British people are in Nigeria compared to how many Nigerians that are in Britain or in America? How much money do we give to Britain in terms of grants, loans? How much money they get Nigeria do we get from Britain and America? These are factors you have to consider. If Nigeria opens its hands and borrow money from Britain or take grants from them in millions, most likely when they invite you, you go, because if the money stops coming, how do you survive? People don't know
Then
that.
don't take their money. There's no free lunch in this world.
We don't.
Sri Lanka is
Dr.
there. Sri
we don't
Lankans
give
don't
them
go.
money,
There are a lot
but
of
they steal
Bangladesh
money
is
from
there.
us.
Malaysia is
They
there. They don't
steal a
come
lot from us.
to come and brown nose here.
But what I'm saying is that, if the United States gives you 600 and something million every year, when they call you, if you are going to run for president in that country, Nigeria, and they get a call from whoever is in the White House to come, you go. Because
The money they are giving us is actually to bribe our politicians. They are bribing our politicians before our own eyes to keep us where we are.
I agree with you,
Wetin
but
they can do?
you
All
have
those
to.
money when they thief, when they take do CBN for their various houses, if we pack am together, we go still go borrow. I been waiting.
We don't need their money. I think that's why we say we should do the maths. We need to do the maths. I think me and Sia, we talked about we need to do the maths of what we have in Nigeria so that Nigerians will know the money that we can generate ourselves without needing even oil. UK doesn't have oil.
All right. Thank you.
Wetin we dey use their money do? See,
It's my fault.
we go review all the salary of the senators.
It's
They
my
will
fault.
start collecting minimum wage.
Pass
They be
across small
thief.
thing.
We go stop their pension illusion when they create. We go stop everybody na minimum wage 30,000. You hear me? All the money when they take pay them
30,000.
for retirement is
Wow.
annoying. That
That's harsh.
or to stop borrowing. Stupid, idiotic.
Madam Hoa, all 5 fingers are not equal.
Hold on. Let me just say one more thing, not to provoke more reaction. But Femi Adesina, he had an interview recently where he was asked why did Buhari not remove the subsidy, being that before he became president, he was sure that there was no subsidy, that it was a fraud and everything. I wish that all of you listen to the answer he gave. Sometimes, sometimes we might.
What was the answer?
Basically, he was saying that when he got there, he discovered that the government will not be able to survive if they remove the subsidy. And they couldn't take that risk, and they didn't remove it. So what I'm saying is that sometimes if you stay outside and you see all these things and they're very easy, but when you get in there, you find out that it may not be as easy as you think. If you think that, we don't know, if I ask anybody here in this panel, how much money do we get from foreign governments every year? Nigerian government, how much money do we get? We don't know. It may be a lot more than you think. And We don't even know where they apply it into our budget system. And then if
they are not giving it to us. They are using. See, most of the money foreigners give to us goes back to them because the things that they do is their companies that you are actually investing into. The very little actually makes it, and the rest is just to bribe the politicians to maintain policies that favor them. They say this is, they are not hiding it. Go and check the Africom website. They say all this things that they are doing to us, and we just accept it.
Okay. All right. Can I?
Yeah, Dr. Damages, this is it. Formally, we kind of borrow money from these people. But from where I come from, there is a saying that says, and this is what it means. They steal from us, and they now lend us. Do you understand? So if we are able to stop them from stealing from us and being able to recover those money that they have stolen from us, I don't think there will be need for going to them to borrow. And again, if we are able to stop the inflating cost of project, for example, a project that will cost 10 million naira, you see one illiterate that calls himself a senator or a minister, we inflate the cost to 50 million naira. So if we're able to cut this cost, I don't think there will be need for the country going out trying to borrow money from these people. Again, there is one other way that these people are making us dry. You see someone that calls himself a senator earning about, I think, 2.5 million naira, right? Then there are some other kind of I don't know what they call it. At the end of the day, what single person will be going home with about 20 million naira a month for what? So if we're able to cut all these unnecessary wastages, I don't think there will be need going to these people to borrow money. Again, recently there was a discovery. Hold on. Recently there was a discovery. Recently there was a discovery on how they steal oil from the same NNPC pipeline. Cut that off. Again, it was exposed that even the U.S. government, the U.S. House of what they call it, Congress, are in collusion to this thievery.
All right.
So these are the people who still go back and still borrow money from them. The UK are thieving from us.
Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you.
One more.
Yeah, so just the two things I want to say. One is that nothing goes, there is no charity in business. The problem we have is a problem of leadership. Whether Chatham House or Grant, they are doing the math. They know every money that comes from Nigeria to UK. And they know that they make more money from illegal means. And they track this money and they use it for investment. But for that to continue, they keep lording over bad leaders for us. So, and that cannot stop until we get it right. If we vote somebody that can say, hey guys, we are equal, we are also going to do our own math. Look at how much of our money that is going out is not going to go out again. Now you become equal. You sit on table. You can have a dialogue. China was treated this way until they got a leadership that was brave. They shut their door. They fixed themselves. They now sit on the same table. So, but until we get that leadership, we're not going to be on the same table. For now, we're not on the same table with them. So that's why we'll keep going there until we get leadership. But this last point I want to make, I'm so disappointed the way Bello came in here furious because he thought that somebody made an ethnic statement, but he ended up behaving like a slave master, standing in our front, telling us that somebody will be our president without any justification, without being fair to us. I mean, it saddened me that you're telling me that Baba Blue, with the reason, justify why Tinubu should be the president of Nigeria.
All right. So you see what I'm saying, because now I have to let Bello speak, because you can't just hang it. That's why I don't want interruption. Bello, go ahead. 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Dr. Damages, for giving me this last shot. You see,
whatever you say, you need to check your own mindset, okay? Whatever you say, okay, if you're talking about, okay, so what justification does Tinubu have? I can give you 10, I can give you 20, I can give, go on and on. Like I said, when I first came in, none of our leaders is perfect, okay? But at the same time, it doesn't mean like, okay, they don't have, I mean, their own positive side. If Tinubu, I mean, if people feel like, okay, Tinubu doesn't have the justification of the moral means or the antecedent to rule us, he won't have these enormous supporters that are following him. But at the same time, I want you to, check your own mind. Politics anywhere in the world is not a chocolate come and take my child kind of situation. Even in the United States of America, okay, that I mean, where we say we learn politics. I mean, we have to be factual. We have to be, at the same time, we still have to be politically conscious, okay, of the kind of environment where we come from. I'm only saying the fact, and you can call for my head. I mean, it doesn't. I don't
Oga
care.
Bello Mechonu, which fact you dey talk? Which
Let
facts?
me tell.
No, let
If
Bello
you feel,
speak.
let me say
Echo,
my.
please.
I will say my
Please,
mind.
please, please.
You
Please.
see, if you
Bello, go
feel
ahead.
like, politically speaking, if you feel like one party is kind of, if people feel like they are marginalized and everything, it is, you still have to use the political means. You are not going to, there is no other means. Either maybe trying to call chaos or anything. It's not gonna, or try or insult others in the name of like, they are doing, we are slave masters or anything. You still have to use the same political means to look for a way to get power. Okay, and there is no, and if you are not getting this power, you don't have any other person to blame but yourself. You have been voting in a particular direction for many years, but at the same time, at the time that they are supposed to even consider you people, at the same time, they still play you like Maradona. Who is to be blamed? You blame yourself. You don't blame others. Nigeria is one. And for you to be able to play at the center stage, you have to do what? You have to play your game you have to collaborate. It's not done by coming in the public spaces and insulting people and saying, somebody is baba blue. I'm sorry to tell you again, if you don't play your politics right, this is going to continue to happen. I'm sorry to say, if this sounds so insulting to anybody, okay, I mean, if you say, okay, fine, somebody is I don't want to talk about somebody Hausa, somebody Igbo, somebody. I see myself as a Nigerian first before I see myself wherever I come from, because I don't live in Nigeria right now.
All right.
And whoever see me will see me as a Nigerian first.
All right,
so whatever you're going to say, you play your politics at the highest stage and stop being a local champion.
Dr. Damage, can I say something?
No. Who is saying no? Nobody's saying something again. Janaba, thank you. Welcome to the show, and I'm glad that you're here. Did you watch the speech?
You know, I will not watch it.
So why are you here then? We are talking
As
about
I'm here because
Janaba, hold on. Janaba, hold on. The title is Reactions to Peter Obi.
You know I will not watch it.
It's the same reaction. It's the same reaction I'm having. It's my own way I'm having that reaction. And you cannot tell me why, because I react to it, that I did not watch it and I have to watch it because you went there. So you can't tell me that. And you send me the link and I have the right to honor you. So don't tell me all of those things. Don't make my blood pressure go up now.
I support you, Janaba, not my Dr. Damage for what? And Oga Bello, make I ask you one question.
No.
I beg, just one question.
No. One
Ask
question.
me next time. I'll come on the show because of you next time.
No. I'll put Jesus Christ. Janaba, so I know you didn't watch the speech, but what do you think about it? Where he was, where he was talking, there was a place he was talking about Jonaba, and he said that Jonaba that appears on. What do you think about that?
I don't care what you say about me.
So what do you want to say? Where is Jonaba? Okay. So what do you think?
Okay. First of all, Rudy, thank you for you send me a link, and you always ask me why am I here? Why you send me a link?
I thought you prepared. You watched the.
I I don't. You listen to me. My stand never change. If Obi win, I wish him to be a good president to Nigeria and contribute to his own in his own way. I don't believe he's going to win. It doesn't matter. All the followers and all the agitators and all of those things. I'm not a fan of Obi. Obi is a part of establishment. He switch party doesn't mean he switch anything that have any policy. Anybody can write manifesto. I think Obi also is playing to the old politics by going to cat house, wherever they are going, or wherever they go and talk. Obi is no different in any shape or form. It could have been more honorable for him not to go there and tell Nigerians, since the momentum is on his side, that I'm sticking with you. Let's live for one. But like some of the panel have said, the level we operate for now, we depend on them. But I want to say to those panelists that we contributed in the workforce, whether in America or in Britain or any part of the world, in one way or the other, and it's a modern slavery. That's the way they have brought us here. So they know that, and we have no choice for now until we put our act together. So be going there or not going there. I just come here to even tell you that I don't care whether I go there or do not go there. It makes no difference. I'm not to be fine. Even if you come to my neighbor, I'm not going to look outside. I'm sorry.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. You are very honest.
All right. Thank you so very much, Madam H.O. Don't be interrupting. You are not the host here. I love you, Madam H.O. You are the woman that always comes to this show.
Me and Dr. Damage, we party.
I know now. We be party. No, we say nobody else no go talk now.
We know how
I
we
know until Jesus come. All right. Thank you so very much. I'll see you again, Dr. Damages. I have to leave before you can drive me crazy. My blood pressure is already going up.
All right.
Because of Obi, because of your hatred for Obi.
No, I don't hate Obi. Let me tell you, Ambe from you know you are my buddy, but I don't hate Obi. I don't have a hate for my life is too simple. I'm enjoying my life than to hate anybody. I'm already a slave in another man's country. Then I go and hate him. Come on, give me a break.
All right.
Hate Obi for what?
You want to say something? Yeah.
One love.
Yeah. What are you saying? What? Yeah. I can hear you.
Me?
Basic Express. No.
Okay.
All right. So
you're muted. Basic Express is muted. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute.
Okay.
He's done it now.
Okay.
Just a minute. I really have to go.
What I was just alluding to is recently Obi came to New York, and I'm pointing to Bello. I asked a publisher friend of mine if he was going to be there because I would be in New York. He said no. I said why? He said because he's a Tinubu guy. It was plain, straight. I said, can you send a representative? He said no. I said okay, no problem. We'll take it at that. So to Bello, it almost seems when you speak, somebody might even say, is blah blue sponsoring you?
Oh well.
I didn't mean for you to answer. I'm not asking for you to answer.
To whoever I support,
so I can make my opinion. We have our right.
Express. You see why I don't.
Okay, so let me not go there. Let me just say, when we are growing up, we are taught that he who goes a borrowing goes a sorrowing. That's the language that's stuck in our head, and we slugged it out with the little that we have. When we came down to America, for instance, we learned that there is something called a credit system, and we start using the credit system. And when you look back at the reality of what is going on now, they have not stopped siphoning. When you talk about Britain, you talk about Shell Oil Company. When you talk about America, you talk about Chevron. When you talk about resources, folks, our folks are playing the game now. And what somebody like Peter Obi, if he doesn't win this election, it simply means that the international community, whose hand is in the till of Nigeria, don't want us to be free in this, and we have to be able to make ourselves free. Obi talks about agriculture. It talks about all the resources. We are so blessed, it's not funny. We are blessed more than many of these places. But because our people at home, even when they are going in, I will use, for instance, when they were talking about borrowing money from the IMF in the 80s, OUK, Ojuzo Kalu, he came out and said, if we Nigerians band together and bring out our money, we don't need the IMF. It's on record. And people loved him for that. He spoke that language. But then when he got into the game, it seemed like things changed. It looks like when our people go there, I don't know, there must be something inside that pot that kind of cloaks their faces, and they tend to forget all the good things they were talking about. So what am I concluding is this. The Obidati, people are seeing that these are people who are coming out to say, let's do the right thing. And if we are talking about age, I am sure that some of you who are in the young age, your blood is flowing, working faster, your brains are working faster, you are the now generation. You can be able to compete us better in the international level or anywhere Nigeria goes. If we, I say it again, make a mistake and elect people like blah, blah, blue, we are going to be much more in deeper trouble than we are now. So let's do the right thing and elect the younger ones to go into office.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
That's the position I'm advocating.
All right, thank you. Forefathers, thank you so much for joining us today.
Let's stop borrowing, please.
Austin, thank you so much. Ike, what's going on? I know you.
Listen, he hasn't said anything yet.
No, he did, but I know he came back and he didn't get it.
I have to say something before we go. I'm not going to say anything anymore because.
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to ask a question, but Mr. Bello has left, right?
He might be
Dr. Damage, let me speak to you. Maybe next time I will have the privilege to meet Mr. Bello on your platform. But let me remind you, Dr. Damage, that your platform has grown so much that when people come here to make a false statement, you should be able to debunk that statement. And I think you have given us a lot of opportunity for us not to be tribal bigots in this place. And anybody that comes into this platform who wants to play that card, you are the owner of this platform. You kick the person out. If I'm the person, kick me 1 million miles far away from your platform.
Hold on, because this comes up all the time, okay? The problem with that is that almost everybody here said something today that I don't know everything, but I know they are wrong. Okay? And maybe even me, myself, I probably said something wrong today. Okay? So if we decide, the problem with that is with censorship is that who draws the line?
Let him speak.
Okay? There was a time that Kenneth was censorship. He made some references that I knew was wrong. Almost everybody. I could have said something wrong. The hope is that this is a conversation and we have different people and you can correct somebody when you get the opportunity, okay? And if we don't want to stop whatever conversation we are having to fact check everybody, then there won't be anything, we won't accomplish anything. So I don't think that smart people, there are smart people watching at home. They're able to know this is not, when someone says this, that it's not correct, it's not right, it's not wrong, it's wrong, this one is right. And they're able to make that determination themselves. And as much as possible, I encourage people, when you have opportunity, you can correct something somebody said. But we can't just hold on the conversation just to start fact checking everybody.
No, okay, thank you.
And then we can't kick people out because they are saying something.
Yes, no, okay. I accept.
Maybe in a classroom in this place where we can't learn. Look at Ekene. Ekene don't change now. When Ekene come before, now Biafra, but today he don't see reasoning.
Yes,
so that might not vex. This place in a classroom. Everybody go learn by force. We go change our mindset.
Madam Hoha, we had a lady in Aba in the 70s. We call her Madam Hoha.
with all due respect, I accept what you said.
Yeah, I finish.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold
I'm
on,
trying
guys.
to round up. I'm not saying anything anymore.
Let's
We
have
are
for 5
going on.
minutes.
Listen, let me just leave it for now. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, and let's thank you guys for coming in today and joining this conversation. Maybe if I'm able to, depending on my time, maybe when one person does something, we'll meet again and for a few minutes and have a conversation after that. Okay. So thank you all for joining me. Those who watch at home, thank you. You can like the
Abeg, before una go,
Madam
make una
Hoha,
pray for
Madam
una
Hoha,
12.
Madam Hoha,
Wait, see,
Madam
before una
Hoha.
go, I have a request. Make una pray for 12 of una young children. We are about taking them to Malaysia to go and do trial, and we are trusting God that they will pass their trial and they will be signed into club there and start
Amen.
their career. So put us
Amen.
in your prayer.
Amen.
All right. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it.